like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead, take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead, hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media, share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, we are back. Today, we are going to be looking at something very interesting. I don't know how much y'all saw, but I saw a decent amount of it myself, where, you know, there has been some criticism, which there always is at this point, of Tyler Perry movies, but there has been some criticism of Tyler Perry movies, and I went to look specifically for Black women who criticize Tyler Perry's new movie Straw, which is available on Netflix. Okay, it is available on Netflix, so I did check out to see what Black women were saying specifically, and saw some interesting responses. So y'all, we're dealing with, is this the straw that broke Tyler Perry's fans' backs? Okay, are the fans gonna change up on him? What they gonna do? Okay, interesting movie got made. I did a review on this movie. If you want to hear just a regular old review, you can look at my videos and see a review on the Tyler Perry film. But there's been a reaction from Black women about this particular film. Now, the film did make it to #1 on Netflix, so I mean, people watching. What can I tell you? They are watching. But before we go too far into this, let me do what should be done, y'all. I got to take a moment out to give props where props is due, because I have people who come through and they make things happen around here. And I cannot do things the same way without these folks. So, man, shout out to each and everyone who gives financial contributions to the channel. I appreciate every single one of them. And shout out to my main man, Gold P, who is the sponsor of today's stream. Shout out to Gold P, the sponsor of today's stream. Appreciate you big time, brother. Appreciate you big time. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. And let me give some shouts to some of the people who have checked in. It's always good that when you getting ready to start a show that you find people who have already checked in, letting me know that you're there. And, it's always good. So as the people come in, I'm going to give props where props is due, but y'all know how it goes. Shout out to, because there can only be one, y'all. And I don't know why you ain't been one as of yet. You need to get yourself together if you ain't been one yet. But shout out to Chef Mike's Roundtable. He is the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to Chef Mike. Appreciate him big time. Appreciate him big time. And appreciate all he does for the channel. That is our unofficial quality control by. And the only reason I say unofficial, because I ain't got enough money to pay Chef. He do more than he do better work than what I can pay him for. So that's the only reason I say the unofficial quality control guy hit the Roger Report Live. Don't test them. That's all I'm going to say. Don't test them. And shout out to the whole pit crew. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. Shout out to Tunnel Run. I see you in the building. Great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. The righteous teacher is here. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. We got the Saute Sheriff in the house. Mr. Suge to you is in the building. Great to see you as well. Afro Merchant is here. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Music Man 1982 is in the building. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Inspired Truth Broadcast is here. What's up? What's up, my brother? And shout out to all three of the pit crew. We got J-Dub, the deputy on the grill, is in the building as well. And J-Dub, I'm getting your wrench next, y'all. I'm getting you your wrench next, y'all. And if y'all, I mean, I know y'all don't know it, but every 100 subscribers, I'm going to be giving out a wrench. So J-Dub, you will be next. And then we're going to have my man Red Pill Sleeper Cell get his after that. Okay? So every time I got a new 100 subscribers, I'm going to be passing out those wrenches. So J-Dub, you will be next, my brother. You will be next. All right, now. And shout out to Bad Black Gamer. Shout out to Bad Black Gamer. Glad to see you in the building, my brother. Glad to see you in the building. So as we get together around the cool table this morning, y'all, we gonna deal with this Tyler Perry's Straw movie. Now, was this an interesting movie? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As I reviewed the movie, did I tell people this is something good to see? Yeah, I think it was a very interesting movie. I don't think it was a bad movie. Okay, I don't think it was a bad movie. But Black women were weighing in with their opinions. And yeah, again, y'all, I went specifically to see Black women's opinion. Now, the first one that I just happened to see, I did put a link in the description so y'all can hear the first person. This was the first Black woman, just a random who video came up as I wanted to see specifically what Black women were saying about the particular movie. So that was just the first one. And woman says she, likes the Tyler Perry movies. She don't necessarily agree with all of them, but she likes Tyler Perry movies. And my thing is, this was a Tyler Perry movie. All right. Starred Taraji B. Henson, who has worked with Tyler Perry on a time or two in the past. So should be no surprise there. Should be no surprise there. And Taraji Henson does a lot of great work. I'm gonna say as an actor, she does a great job. Taraji has never been bad in a movie that I remember. Okay. I was definitely a super fan. Well, I ain't gonna say a super fan, but I definitely like Taraji P. Harrison. I was actually just even the thought of it, y'all. Not that I was gonna ever come across her, but when I found out Taraji P. Henson was a single mother, I was so disappointed. Okay, I was so disappointed. Nice looking lady who hadn't done anything that I was aware of at the time to put her in any kind of real bad light. So I was so disappointed when I found out that she was a single mother. So I was like, man, what you gonna do? Come on now. Taraji too. Not Taraji, but it is what it is, y'all. You can't control everything. It is what it is, okay? And put shout out to her anyway. Now, Sherry Shepherd was also one of the stars of the movie, and Sherry Shepherd did a fantastic job. Okay, she has the great acting chops as well. She ain't to be messed with. I ain't never seen her do anything bad. She had she's been an actress for a while now. Had a run when she was a co-host of The View. Now she's putting in some other good work, and she did a great job. All right. Now we saw Tiana Taylor in here, who actually did a good job. Now, only reason I'm laughing because Tiana Taylor now, for a movie where she was playing a cop, okay? Okay, for a movie where she was playing a cop, y'all, I'm just saying, they had her, quote unquote, glowed up, okay? I think that's what the young folk call it nowadays. They had her glowed up. It was like super ridiculous. She was playing a cop, but her hair was on fleek, as they say, She was she was dressed a little too well to be a cop in the instance that she was playing. Now I can see if the cop was undercover doing something or whatever, but they had her out there like she was about to walk the red carpet. And maybe that was like, we gonna put her, we gonna make her look extra good, we gonna do something with her extra. Because we gonna have Taraji Henson, as black women called it, looking beat down. Okay. Maybe that's what that was. Maybe it was to balance it out. Because the black women were saying they had Taraji Henson beat down. So I guess we get Tiana Taylor, who extra dressed up. Okay. I ain't just talking about the hair, even though the hair was like, okay, cool, hair. But yeah, she was there like a mug. That hair was there like a mug. And whole outfit though. She was dressed really well to just be a cop going in for a regular day's work, even if she is a detective or anything like that. She was dressed really well for that. I'm just saying. And I guess we, in comparison to Taraji, because the black women say they had Taraji looking beat down out there, y'all. So I guess it was the balance of scale. Now I'm gonna say shout out to Sarah B. Sarah B says, no notification this morning. Hey, shout out to you, Sarah B. Glad to see you here. Sarah B, I'm gonna tell you this. I have actually been doing some thinking about it. I may possibly scale down my shows. And the major holidays, I may take a day off. Okay, the major holidays, I may take a day off. And that's me scaling down. I'm talking about Christmas, New Year's Day, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day, Labor Day, and I think it's one more I didn't say, Independence Day. I may scale down and stop doing shows on those days. I may scale down. And what am I saying by saying this? Sarah, I be here. Okay, if it's Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., just come on through. You don't wait on no notification. Just come on through. We gonna be here. Okay, we gonna be here. And I don't even know if I'm gonna truly scale down. That's something I'm thinking about doing. And I know it's hard for folks to tell because I've lost channels time and time again. Hopefully the last one will be the last channel I lose. Hopefully. But I told y'all plenty of times, y'all the platform don't like me like that. It just don't. Y'all, some of y'all believe me, some of y'all probably don't, but they don't like me like that. It is what it is. I ain't tripping because I'm still using it, so I ain't tripping. But yeah, just come on through. We gonna be here. It just is what it is. You ain't gotta wait for no notification. Honestly, I think it was a little bit of white privilege that you was getting notifications. Because plenty of people told me that they haven't, and people have even complained to me that they haven't been getting notification. I'm like, hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Okay, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I just be here. You come on through, and you gonna find something. Okay, that's all you can. That's all I can tell you. Come on through at 9 a.m. and you gonna find something. Okay, but yeah, waiting on notifications. You might have had some white privilege on that one. You know what I'm saying? They said we got to get Sarah her notification because there's other people out there that ain't get it. But Sarah gets to get hers. So it's all good though. It's all good, but I'm gonna be here. So y'all, we gonna look at this movie that had this super well dressed cop Okay. Dealing with this, as black women called it, beat down looking black women or a black woman. And Sherry Shepherd was in there. She was the bank, but she played a bank manager. And she was, now they had her looking nice. Okay. Now forgive me for not remembering all the characters' names, y'all. Now I did actually pull it up to see what the cast was, and they showing it without even showing the people's names. So, I mean, I'm trying to refer to these people as the character they play, but hey, we're gonna do the best we can. Now, first of all, I will give Tyler Perry some props on this, y'all. It was nice to see Sinbad in the movie. Okay. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are aware this Sinbad has had some health issues that he's been dealing with, and he was given a role, small role, but a role that Sinbad can still perform without any problems. So shout out to him. Now I'm gonna say this though, and I guess that's me paying attention to detail here and there. Sinbad played the cleanest homeless person. I mean, for a homeless person, dude was super clean. I'm talking about so fresh, so clean. It's a movie, man. It's a movie. It's okay to put a little dirt on him. Okay. It's okay to put a little dirt on him, okay? Because he was super clean for a homeless person, man. I'm talking about that man in that wheelchair, homeless. That man was super clean. I'm just saying, that was the cleanest homeless person I had ever seen. But it's all good, though. It's all good. Throw some dirt on him, though, next time. Throw some dirt on him. It ain't no distance to Sinbad. I actually appreciate the fact that Sinbad was in the movie. But I'm just saying, y'all, he is playing a homeless person. Throw a little dirt on him. A little something, something. So, y'all, as I watched the movie, it was definitely a different kind of film. I actually like when Tyler Perry goes away from some of the regular things that he does. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, I gave up on Tyler Perry films. Only reason I even watch Tyler Perry films at this point is because I am a content creator. Literally, I actually always tried to support Tyler Perry simply because he was a black man. So once I heard he was a black man and he putting out movies and all that, I try to go to his movies. I try to watch films that have a black characters as the main stars. But then I hear a black man's actually making some movies. I'm like, okay, let me check his movies out. And I stomached his movies as much as I could for free. Now, let's keep it real, y'all. I'm a content creator, so I do make some kind of money from doing content creation. So yeah, you got to pay me to watch his movies now. You got to pay me to watch his movie. If I wasn't doing content creation, no, I wouldn't watch his films at all. I stopped. Once I went and saw for Color Girls at the theater, that was my last one. I just said, Joe, I can't do this no more. I'm done. As much as I want to support the brother, I can't do it no more. Okay, I can't do it no more. Now, other people didn't necessarily think about it the way I did. Okay, and that's fine. So I've seen some decent. I ain't seen all Tyler's movies, but I seen some of the movies or whatever. And I thought this was a very interesting film. I thought this is something. I had a different take on it that I say a lot of the women that I've checked out had on it, because this was a film where black women were being black women. Okay, you had Taraji representing a lot of black women. Now, was she having a bad day? Yeah, she's having an incredibly bad day on the particular day that the film was about. Incredibly bad day. She done pissed off a cop. Cop told her straight up, you give me one, all I need is one reason so I can legally blow your head off, and I'm taking. That's real talk. You give me one reason. Now, it wasn't like it was just a cop messing with her for the sake of messing with her, because cops don't really mess with black women like that. But it was like she cut him off. She specifically did something to piss him off. Now, the thing is, maybe the cop was having a really, really bad day. We don't know what was going on in the cop's background. Maybe his wife just told him they about to get a divorce. Okay. Maybe that's the day that maybe he just found out that his brother was having sex with his wife. Could have been a lot of different things going on with that particular cop. but he was extremely pissed off. Now, it could have just been some old, hey, white supremacy stuff, and who's this nigga chick thinking she can cut me out? It could have just absolutely been that. But whatever it was, he was highly pissed off on that particular day. He was highly pissed off. So, he scared her pretty well. I'm going to say that. He scared her pretty well. And I thought it was at least somewhat believable that she would be that afraid of this particular cop in this particular interest. Okay. Instance. I'm trying to say instance. Okay. So I can believe that. Okay. I definitely can believe that. Now, her having an issue with $40, man, that's rough, y'all. It's rough to not be able to come up with $40 to take care of your kid. Now, I understand there's a lot of parents who went through something like that. Yeah. As a person who's not been a parent, I have not had the quote unquote pressure of coming up with that $40 at the right time to make sure my kid is okay. So, I didn't come from a rich family though, so I can understand it. I can understand it, and I can empathize with a parent not having the $40 at the time to make sure their kid is okay with the rest of the kids when they go out and eat and do different things they do. I can understand that. Now, I'm gonna say salute to the teachers that give kids stuff out their own pocket, because there are teachers out there that help children out their own pocket. I don't know if I'd be one of those. I'm already a giving person, real talk. So I don't know if I would do that if I was a teacher. That might have to be my limit. I do give to other people in life, but I might have to cut the students off because you can't give away everything. You can't give away everything. So shout out to all the teachers who actually help some kids here or there. I know you think you're doing it for a good reason, but maybe something we might want to stop. Might be something we might want to stop. But so Taraji was going through this thing because she wanted to get the $40 for her kid. She was having a rough day at work. Okay, she was definitely having a rough day at work. And when she got called away to go to the school, okay, her boss didn't really like that. Now I'm gonna say it was great to see also Glenn Turner, shout out to him. It was great to see him in the film. He did a fantastic job. Now there was some sisters who didn't like it, saying, it's always some black man got to talk down to a black woman. Okay, always some black man got to talk down to a black woman in one of his films. Well, I think Glenn Turner did a great job, y'all. That's Glenn Turner. Okay, I'm pretty sure a lot of us remember him from a different world as well. With Sinbad, I'm pretty sure a lot of us remember him. I think he did a great job. He was believable to me, y'all. He sounded like a boss that was ready to fire somebody. It wasn't just a role. He sounded like somebody boss and somebody about to get the can. That's what it sounded like. So I think he did a fantastic job. And the way he got robbed, and then the way he switched up on him when he came back, I heard women complain about that, saying, you help somebody and then all of a sudden they're going to put it on you. Man, the man trying to make a living, And the thing is, if you have a woman who's always talking, and we don't know exactly what the background is, all we can do is estimate. All we can do is guess. But if you have a woman who works for you and she's always talking some slick stuff, okay, and she always got an excuse or a reason to get out of work, because think about it, y'all. If Jania's child had all these special needs, then that would tell me that her boss would have to let her off of work on more than one occasion. Okay? And you see how old he was, y'all. He was playing an old man, trying to, make something happen with his grocery store. It just came off to me that he's one of those dudes who tired of niggas, man. He tired of niggas. And that's all it really was. He just tired of niggas. Now, we don't know how many times that store got robbed or there was an attempted robbery. We don't know how many people he done had to deal with being stupid, asking for free stuff, trying to get lines of credit, all kinds of stuff. He came across as an older man in a neighborhood who happens to own a store, and people want to take advantage of him because he is the older man that happens to own a store. So I think he was just tired of niggas. Okay. Now we as black folks, y'all, we done seen folks tired of niggas. Okay. And y'all know what I'm talking about. We done seen folks that's tired of niggas. And he just came off as a guy who was tired of niggas. And he was tired of, younger people trying to get over, which he kind of expressed in the movie. And there is some things going out there about younger people not being willing to work. And of course, he's going to see her as younger because he's much older. So it just kind of is what it is at that particular point. So I don't think it was really personal to Janiyah. I think he was just a man who was tired of niggas. But the black women say, well, she saved his life, and then he came down on her. Not quite the way I see it. It's hard for me to say that she saved his life when she literally killed him. But I guess that's black girl magic math. Okay, I guess that was black girl magic math. She saved his life, but then she killed him. Okay, or black women said she helped. Okay, Janiyah helped him in that situation. Now I don't know what help she did, because he got one of them had to run out. And the guy who ran out didn't have any money, so the robbery didn't happen the way it was supposed to go down. And one of them's dead now. Okay, and now that you got one of them dead, they're gonna go find that other one. Let's keep it real. They're gonna have to go find that other one because we got a dead body. Then the guy who owned the store that she quote unquote helped. Now I don't know how black women came to this conclusion that she helped them, but he dead, and Janiyah shot him. I ain't saying she meant to shoot him, but I just didn't understand what the help was. So I guess that black girl magic math is strong, because they saw what I saw and they said that she helped them. Woo! I don't even know how to address that for real. That's just crazy. That's just crazy. Dead brother. So even when he get killed, somehow they believe that the black woman helped him. All right. Okay. Okay, if that's what you want to roll with. Now, Janiyah had a lot of stuff going on. Janiyah had got put out, but Janiyah had a chance. Janiyah said she gonna bring that rent back with her. Today. Okay, I'm gonna go get you that rent. Now, the landlord that messed around and put her stuff out. Because by the time she got back to the house, or by the time she got back to the apartments, her stuff out there on the street. Now, Janiyah had said she was going to be there early, and Janiyah didn't show up. Some of the ladies was upset with that. But the landlord had already told Janiyah what was going on. She told her what was going to happen. She said she was going to meet her, and she never met her at that time. So the landlord put the stuff out. Now, if she already been through the eviction process, what you want her to do? So the black women were mad that Janiyah got put out, but then they didn't even think about the fact that the landlord was a black woman herself. Well, now my thing is, how do you deal with that? You're mad that Janiyah got put out, but Janiyah got put out by a black woman. And that black woman was just trying to earn her money because she owns the property. She trying to get an honest day's pay. And Janiyah wasn't trying to pay her. And then it was the whole thing about that check about it's $521 and some change. What that's going to do with somebody's rent. Well, Janiyah could have had the rest of the rent. We don't know. We don't know that Janiyah didn't have nothing saved. Janiyah might have had the rest. I don't know. Or it actually could have just been realistic. It could have been a home that's subsidized. And when Janiyah cashed that little $521 and some change check, because that's how the black women said, that little $521 some change check, that could have been more than enough for her rent. Now, I done told y'all, I done had to help kick some people out over $8, subsidized living. They wouldn't pay the $8. And it's somebody else that wouldn't pay $12. Those was the lowest I remember when I was doing security officer myself. So don't tell me that that little $500 or some change check wasn't gonna do nothing. Don't tell me that. Sound like it do plenty to me. Okay, sound like it do plenty to me. And how do we know that Janai wasn't living in subsidized housing? That could have very much been the case. Okay, so and I'm gonna give her a little credit. Maybe she had some money already saved up. She just needs to get the rest of it. Okay, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast. He said it takes a long time to evict someone. Course and everything takes serious time, which is very true. Which is very true. But we don't know that she ain't already started that process a long time ago. You know, that process might have been going on, y'all. That process could have been going on, and like I said, it could be something cheap. You know, it might just be the thing that a black woman believes she don't have to pay. It could have just been that. What if what she owed was only $12? We didn't get any financial claim. I never heard the amount of money that was owed. Okay, it could have been $12. Shout out to Mr. Shook to you. He said the most extreme case I've seen is a woman got paid $12 a month to stay in an apartment. She got paid $12 a month, or she had to pay $12 a month. Okay, just so I'm clear, she got paid $12 a month to stay in the apartment, or she had to pay $12 a month to stay in the apartment. Because I'm saying, y'all, I was with the people kicking folks out over not paying $12 a month, and I was with the folks kicking out somebody for not paying $8 a month when I was doing security. Okay, I remember those because they was just so low. I literally couldn't believe that it turned into a situation where somebody was finna get evicted over $12 and somebody was finna get evicted over $8. It just didn't make no sense to me. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out, you can't just go out and beg for $8. If all I had to pay was $8 a month, man, I go on the street and beg for that $8. I ain't got no pride like that. If I ain't got the money, man, I'm gonna go beg somebody for $8. Man, I'm in subsidized housing. My rent is only $8 a month. You know, and I'm messed up out here. Now, shout out to Mr. Sugar to you. He did just clarify. He said got paid $12 a month. I couldn't believe it. Now, I guess that was a subsidized housing situation, but I mean, if you got a unit and you got $12 a month, you win. You know, that's all I can guess with that one. He say, you know, somebody got paid $12 a month. Okay, well, that's hard to believe, brother. That's hard to believe. Now, only reason I can believe in that because I've heard such crazy stuff over time. You know, so I can't believe in that. I can't believe in that. Got paid $12 a month to stay in the apartment. You got a whole apartment and $12. So, you know, and they mind they winning. That's all I can say. So black women, you know, some black women were having some issues with this particular film. I didn't see it as a bad film. Okay. I didn't see it as something that was so terrible when it comes to the quote unquote image of black women. But they did seem to take it that way. And I thought I think they're a little wrong for jumping on Tyler, you know, in this particular situation, because as far as I'm concerned, Tyler let him off the hook. I don't know why they didn't grasp that, but all the bad things Janai was doing and all the stuff about how black women is viewed, you know, all the struggle, okay, all the craziness that happened in this particular film, the way I saw it is Tyler left him off the hook. Because he said, hey, the only reason she's doing this is because she's literally not well. She crazy. No, not the joking crazy. No, the actual crazy. Well, she needs to be institutionalized. This woman is having mass hallucinations, okay? And she is not in the real world. She was actually delusional. She is not in the real world right now. Okay, the way she see life, it is not in the real world. She drove a child to school that was already dead. You understand? Now in the movie, she didn't put the body. If you hadn't seen the movie, she didn't put the body in the car and drive the body to the school. But she did imagine herself taking her child from home, putting the child in the car, driving that car to the school, letting the child out the car to go join the fellow students and literally wave to who I'm assuming is a principal. Okay, I think she was the principal of the school. Could have been a teacher, but I believe they said something about the principal. I ain't sure. But she waved at one of the people at the school who worked there. Okay, so she took a child that was already dead to the school. She delusional. And black women got mad. Well, my thing is, Tyler let you off the hook at the very end of the film. What more do you want from him? Okay, what more do you want from him? Shout out to Tyrese. But A.L. Evans is here, and I want to give him the mic and see what he has to say on this particular subject. A.L., you got it, my brother. How you doing?
You hear me, Roger?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning. Peace to the chat. Long live the habitual line steppers. You know how we do. Yeah. Bro, I've been listening to you go on about this. I went back and watched the little clip you put in there. I'm not a supporter and a fan of Tyler Perry because, number one, I'm going to just be frank. His alternative lifestyle does not coincide with the way I walk, talk, move, live, and think. Number two, his movies have been trash for years. I mean, thinking black men we've been them past this man to the side for the simple fact, from his plays to his movies, trash, but they want to support him. They want to love him. Oh, Tyler this, Tyler that. It was all good when Tyler was bashing me, you know, when Tyler started, putting that pen in the script and telling every different kind of way a woman walks, talks, moves, thinks, and acts, it, from his perspective. Oh, they started waking up. We don't like Tyler no more. We don't like Tyler. Tyler's presenting us like this. Tyler's presenting us like this. Tyler won't evolve. Tyler has evolved. The problem is y'all keep evolving as a clan of people in a group in society. Y'all keep devolving. Y'all keep showing them images of y'all acting the biggest fools, can't be told nothing, who go check you. It's all about y'all. And you so independent. So all he's doing is just holding the mirror up to their faces and letting them see how they truly get down in one aspect or another. For that, I ain't mad at it. So, because for years it started through the plays and whatnot. He's go bash a man every chance he get to uplift him. And it was all good when that was going on. Yeah, girl, Tyler's the best. He's the greatest. Thank you, Tyler, for telling our story. But he starts telling the whole story about y'all, then y'all got problems. Y'all don't. They thinking process about this is ass backwards, if you ask me. But what do I know? I'm gonna digress on that note.
Now I have to say, there is no confirmation that Tyler Perry is alternative lifestyle, and he even has a son, I believe. Not that that necessarily means anything, but there's no confirmation on it. And my thing is, I can't just let false narratives go. So,
he switch hit now. He switch hit now.
No, he been had a son. He been had a, no. You said something about his alternative lifestyle for the average person.
I don't get down with it. And
but I'm saying the average person is going to associate that with him being LGBT, and I'm just making it known we are not saying that he is LBGT. Yeah, there's never been a confirmation of that. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, because we don't want to quote unquote slander Tyler.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. If you say so, okay.
No, I'm totally unaware of any confirmation that has happened. Okay,
That you know of. Guess
yeah.
what? You're not the only person on the face of this earth. And guess what? Yeah, your opinion's not the only one that counts. And it's been more than one person on more than one occasion who has put to light that this man lives an alternative lifestyle. Whether you choose to want to confirm it or not, or agree or not, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
No.
Just like
I'm not making an opinion on it. As far as I know, he's never publicly made that information available. That's what I'm saying.
Put it like that. Put it like that. There you go. I can at least swallow that. But
Yeah. Now what he doing? Because everybody knows somebody or seen somebody. There's all types of stuff folks do, but there's never been a public confirmation. That's all I'm saying. So I got to give him that, just like I give to everybody else.
Okay,
Now,
can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Is he married?
Nah, he's not married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Has he ever been married?
Not that I'm aware of. I've never looked it up, but not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Is the so-called quote-unquote child that you read about or you've heard about or that you may know about, does this child claim him? And does he claim his father? Vice versa.
I don't know. I don't really pay attention. That's why I said I think he got a son. I don't pay attention to him like that. But the thing is, to my understanding, there's never been public acknowledgement that he is that. And at the end of the day, if we call him something that he hasn't confirmed, then that's slandering him. So we can't just let him run a narrative like that, because now we're saying that he's something that he hasn't confirmed that he is. And this is the thing: every celebrity knows people. Every celebrity have been seen by people. There's stuff that's done in the dark, but if they don't publicly confirm it, we can't. You know what I'm saying? It's just rumors at the end of the day. I could see some star, have sex with a man that don't say he's LGBT. I could literally walk in on it. But if he ain't made that a public thing, and I didn't, if I ain't got no pictures or videotape, it's over with. It's just not a public thing at the end of the day. If he didn't say he is, we can't say that he is. Him being single don't mean nothing. It's half of black men are single and childless. It just don't have the same weight they used to. So I can't say just because he ain't married that he's that. Half of black men are single and childless at this point. We got to be real about stuff. Now, I totally understand if somebody's going to suspect it, but we can't say that it happened. Okay, he got to confirm it, and if it has not been publicly confirmed, we can't put it on. Now, I'm gonna say this. Now, Tyler Perry been doing the thing. Okay. Now, as a matter of fact, they go landing right there, saying exactly what I'm saying. He said, "I know people who work with him in Atlanta. The boy LGBT openly." And see, that's the thing, Landon. You say you know somebody, and I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. But if it's not made public, can't do nothing with that information. Those are just rumors. Those are just rumors.
Okay, Roger. If that's the case, this has been over a 20-year long standing ass rumor. Okay, that he has not publicly come out and said yay or nay about either. So with that being said, for over 20 years, this rumor been hanging over his head. Come on, bro.
Well, this is the thing. What black man get famous and don't get accused of that? Then think about that. When your name really get big, that's part of what's going to be said about you anyway. So even in Tyler's case, if it ain't confirmed, I can't do nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? That every black man just about who got a really big name done been accused of that. That doesn't happen to many people, whether they are or are not. So the thing is, it's just a rumor unless they confirm. Now, moving back to the subject at hand, black women's reaction to this Tyler Perry film, which I cannot say the film wasn't good, because I did actually watch the film, because I did a review on the film. So I did watch it. It wasn't a bad film. It was a very interesting film, a good original story. And truth be told, like I said, he let black women off the hook at the end, because at the end of the movie, you find out the lady is literally delusional. She's worried about, this whole movie is about her concern about this dead daughter. Everything that happened to her in this day was her being concerned about this dead daughter. The eviction was about her and her child having a place to live. Going to work about her getting money so she can give $40 to her daughter. Her walking over to the bank to get that check cash immediately was so she can get that daughter that $40. Okay, now, yeah, she walked into the bank with a gun in her hand, not paying attention, but everything she was doing was about trying to make sure this daughter of hers, who was already dead, was straight. So she making all kinds of stupid decisions. And now that she's in the bank and they think she's trying to rob the bank. And my thing is, I can totally understand why somebody would think she's trying to rob a bank. But I mean, I always say that stupidity is a choice. Okay. Stupidity is a choice. Now I will say the teller, okay, the bank teller was doing something extremely stupid, because the bank teller started giving her more than what she asked for. Now, I'm going to say this. Now, I can't tell you what to do if you a bank teller and somebody's robbing you. You got to go by bank policy, okay? You got to go by your bank's policy. It is what it is. But I'm going to tell you this. If I'm the bank teller and somebody come in showing me a gun and they saying cash this check, y'all know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cash the check, give them exactly what they asked for so they can leave. So, truth be told, the bank teller, I don't know, I don't have the character's name listed. I did Google the cash, y'all, but I don't see the character's name listed. So the bank teller that was played by Ashley Verscher, and lovely woman, looked attractive in the role and all that. She was a complete idiot. That's what I'm gonna say. She was a complete idiot. Real talk. A woman got a gun. The manager was already called over at that point. The manager said cash her check because the lady got a gun, and you start trying to give her a bunch of money she ain't asked for. You are incredibly stupid. And truth be told, if you pay attention to the movie, that's why this whole situation got started with the bank being under siege. I guess that's what you would call it. The bank under siege. That's how you became a hostage. You created your own hostage situation because you didn't do what you was told. Not only by the person with the gun, you didn't even do what you was told to do by your own boss. Like, you super stupid. Okay, you super stupid. So I don't know if that meant much to most people who saw the film, but I saw that's where the whole hostage situation took off. It's just because this one dummy. One dummy wouldn't do what she was told, which is just simply cash a check. She could have gave her that $521 and some change. And I be forgetting that character's name. Whatever it was, she would have walked out of there and everything would have been fine. At least for the folks in the bank. Now, it wouldn't have necessarily been fine for whatever her name was. Lanisha something. It was a lot something name, y'all. I can't think of what it is at this moment. Or was it Jacquees? Whatever. It was a very black name. I'll just say that. It was a black expected name. I'll say that. All the woman behind the counter had to do was just simply cash the check. She started trying to dump all kind of money to her. And you got a person you think is robbing the bank saying, "Why are you giving me all this?" And you can't figure out just to cash the check. See, that's what I be saying, y'all. At some point in time, I just got to accept people are stupid. Okay? That's what I have to accept because they do these situations. And I understand people may say, well, she was pressured. It was an unusual situation. There's a gun in her face. People can say it like that. Taraji wasn't even waving the gun. Taraji forgot she had the gun with her. Whatever the character was she was playing, forgot she even had the gun with her. So Lord have mercy. Just cash the check. That's all she asked for. Your boss came over there and said, just cash the lady check. What more do you need at that particular point? But you want to be obstinate and just do what you want to do instead of just doing what you're supposed to do and get up out the situation. Now, granted, somebody may say, well, she was doing what she's supposed to do because she didn't have an ID. Once your boss tells you go and cash her check, it's over with for you at that point. If somebody asks you why you cash a check, all you got to do is say, my boss told me to cash a check. That's it. End the story. But no, you got to be super smart. And you cause a whole bank robbery situation and hostage situation that wasn't even trying to take off. So she's an idiot. Now, again, my thing is this, y'all. I don't know why black women was giving these such bad reviews because they talking about Taraji looked beat down. I heard that she didn't even have someone to call. She didn't want to call her mama. She didn't want to call her sisters about taking care of her daughter. And, they said that she don't have a village. The lady is a single mother. There is no indication of what happened to the father of this child. Okay, there's no indication. He ain't even mentioned in this film. Okay. So we already know she was with somebody who she don't want to be with because she's a single mother. Now, there is no reason for me to assume that because she is a single mother, that means there's a problem with the father. Okay, this is just probably what she wanted. Why? Because if you pay attention to real life, you can find out easily that when black women become single mothers, usually it's because that's what they want to be. Okay, most of them have found a way to get rid of the guy before that baby hit 2 years old. And her daughter, which I can't remember the name of the daughter right now, but that daughter was beyond the age of 2. So it makes sense that she was playing a character that was a single mother. And I don't see any fault in the father at all. This is just something that she wanted to do. But we have Emperor Dessalines here, so I'm going to go ahead and give him the mic. You got it, my brother. How you doing?
I'm very well, Roger. And you?
Doing fantastic, brother. Doing fantastic.
I watched The Mess this weekend because of you. You told me to, and I did. That's all your fault.
I have to bear that responsibility.
That's your fault. Blame it on Roger.
Well, it wasn't like the other Tyler Perry movies. I can say that. It wasn't like the other Tyler Perry movies.
Actually, this one's slightly better. I know, right? The bar is low. This one is probably his best movie.
I think this is one of Tyler's best movies.
Yeah,
Real talk, y'all. From what I've seen, this is one of his best movies.
Especially the plot twist.
Yeah.
But this movie is not a movie. This movie is a message from the future for all the corn, hard-headed B-dubs.
You said a message from the future?
Yep, a message from the future.
Okay.
4 years of Donald Trump and 4 years of JD Vance. That's what it's going to look like for most of them.
Well, I'm going to say, I didn't see her having too big of a problem at the end of the day, except that cop that she pissed off, that's a rough situation for anybody to deal with. Okay, a cop telling you, when I legally find a way to blow your head off, I get that. That's a little rough, a little different. Okay. A little rough, a little different. So I see that as a real issue.
Yeah.
Everything else is just regular, man. You go to work. Sometimes you're going to have a hard time with your boss. If you haven't established a relationship with your boss to not be getting out of pocket with you, then that's what a boss is going to do. So I didn't see that as very different. I'm not saying the boss should have been talking to the employee that way. I'm saying in real life, if you don't establish a rapport with your boss, that's what bosses do. Just is what it is. Okay. So, that's on Janai. She got to stand up for herself at the end of the day. And her not standing up for herself was obviously a clear pattern for us to get to the point in the movie where he's talking to her the way he's talking to her at this particular time. And I think it was obviously something going on where she would like miss work or something like that. He basically had been fed up with her behavior. I don't know if people picked up on that, but he had been fed up with her behavior. And obviously he has an attitude toward younger people and their work ethic anyway. So, like I said earlier, I think he was just quote unquote tired of niggas. I don't think it was just personal to her. That's just the type of guy he was. But obviously they've had some issues in the past. Now, her not standing up for herself, hey, that's on her at the end of the day. Can't nobody just do it for you. Oh, somebody can do it for you now that I think about it. Your husband can. Your husband can.
Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately for them, most of them don't have a husband. They are strong and independent. So ergo, they have to go through life and deal with all the BS of life by themselves. That's why I said this is not a message in a bottle. This is a message from the future. You keep ducking around, keep sitting around like that, keep being single. 4 years of Donald Trump plus 4 years of J.D. Vance. This is going to be the life of the average black woman.
Now, shout out to Mr. Suge to you. I gotta read this, y'all. He said, Roger, I mentioned that 2-year-old stat to my cousin. Not only did she do it with her kids, her daughter just had her first kid, and she broke it off with her PR baby daddy within a year. Okay, what you mean by the PR? She broke it off with her PR baby daddy. What do you mean by that, Mr. Suge to you? I mean, not shocked. I am gonna say I am not shocked. Oh, Puerto Rican. Okay, thank you, brother. All right, so she had a Puerto Rican become her baby daddy, and she still broke it off with him within a year. And Mr. Suge, you say he didn't do anything wrong. She just didn't want to be controlled.
Yeah. He got her mixed baby. He had the mixed baby out of the deal. He doesn't need them no more. He was a sperm donor.
Yeah, he just didn't know it. He just didn't know it. So yeah, I have a very different reaction. I know a lot of people because they talking about her, this character being Janiyah. That was her name, Janiyah being this single mother. I just assume that's what Janiyah picked. That's what I think when I see black women who are single mothers. I just look at it that that's what they wanted to be, and they was able to get the job done. It's that simple at the end of the day.
They picked the struggle, and the struggle didn't pick them.
Yeah. So now, if you can't pay your rent, which I could understand could be a difficult situation, even if you have subsidized living, because you do have a child with some form of special needs. They, you know what I'm saying? We don't know exactly what the child needed, but there was an issue with the child bathing herself and falling and things like that. So obviously, this child needs special care. Okay. And I think what they were showing, I think what it was supposed to be from the hospital, she took her baby home to earlier, according to what they were saying in the film and what they were showing about Janiyah leaving the hospital with her baby. I think she took her baby from the hospital without the doctors signing off on it. So she made her own decision. Now, I ain't saying somebody can't. It's their child. They can do what they want. But I think she took her child prematurely from the hospital. And maybe that was a situation where maybe she couldn't pay. I don't know. Or maybe she just thought they wasn't doing it right. At the end of the day, you probably should have discussed that with your husband, though.
Yeah, Roger. Can't nobody tell them ski-balled, hard-head ass woman anything? Who gives a what the doctor has to say? She's a black woman, and he's just a doctor.
What? But see, the thing is, the way they did the film, to me, I saw it as Tyler Perry doing something to draw sympathy for single mothers. So the women I saw reviewing it, and they were total, from a total opposite standpoint, like Tyler Perry messing about image. I saw him doing this as something to draw sympathy towards the single mother. I didn't see this as he's making a problem for single mothers. If anything, he's helping single mothers out by saying, don't be so hard on them. When you look at them, don't automatically assume that they're a bad person. He was trying to, at least in my opinion, give people a reason to view them in a different light, a much better light. That's how I saw it.
Tyler Perry heard that you're too hard on them single mothers. He wants sympathy for them. Roger, have some sympathy.
I mean, to me, that's what it was. Have sympathy for the black single mother.
Right.
So
Um,
why black women are responding to this particular film? I mean, the ones that disagree, because of course there's some that do agree. But I went to listen to what black women had to say about this. You know, I'm a little shocked. That they were going in at the way they was, because I didn't see nothing but a film that said y'all shouldn't be so hard on single mothers. You don't know what a single mother is going through. You don't know how much quote unquote sacrifice she had to make. I saw him trying to draw very positive emotions from the average person. Now, I'm not saying that that's what it made me feel like, but based on what I saw in the film, to me, it seemed like that was the message, to be cool about the black single mother. She's struggling. She don't have no help. Everything is not smooth. She already a single mother, but even with some single mothers, you don't know if they child going through something. They child could have special needs. She broke. She destitute. She got to deal with life in a much different way than the rest of us. So I seen them trying to draw so much sympathy in this particular film, and I'm just sitting with it trying to get through the film or whatever. But I thought the film was rather cool to a certain degree, because at least it was a Tyler Perry movie with something in it than just regular old Tyler Perry-ish type stuff. So to me, I think it is one of his better movies, truth be told. And then with the fact that I saw the former cast members of A Different World, I was like, okay, cool, nice to see those guys in there. I was like, okay, this is one of his better films. Real talk. But he was trying to draw a lot of sympathy for single mothers, because Janiyah was a single mother going through all this stuff as the main character. Then you had Tiana Taylor play what was it, Officer Richardson or something? Whoever she played, she was the single mother telling her story. Well, she was telling a story about her being a child, and her mom was a single mother, and she was trying to make it sound, good and extra heroic. And I knew at the time that we was gonna be all right, and I just wanted to let my mother know that I loved it. Like, it was all kinds of let's get sympathy for single mothers out here. That's what I saw of the film. It was an advertisement to say, hey, if she is a single black mother, let's give her some sympathy. Let's give her some respect. Let's start acknowledging her as human. If for those who are not doing so, maybe they need some government support. I don't know what they was trying to do, but it seemed like it was a whole lot of trying to get sympathy for black single mothers. And my thing is, the message was somewhat ridiculous, but at the end of it, we found out this lady is actually crazy, and she's fighting over a dead kid.
Yeah,
Which
but
technically lets black women off the hook, because they're saying when they operate like this as single mothers, it's because they crazy. So that kind of let her off the hook.
yeah,
I
but
didn't see what the big deal was.
here's the kicker. I thought they agreed with everything Tyler Perry said. How come they're turning on him now? The snake is eating meat still or something?
That's what was not making sense to me, because I like I said, y'all, I went through several reviews of black women talking about this film, and the feelings they had from this, and it was crazy. That's why I said that they were talking about Taraji looking what was it, broke down or whatever. They didn't appreciate how Taraji was looking in the film, y'all. And my thing is, man, look at the message he's trying to send. He got her as this person dealing with a whole lot of stuff in life by herself to get y'all some level of sympathy. So why y'all tripping? I just didn't get it. And shout out to Serious Rye. Serious Rye says Tyler wants you to show sympathy without enough backstory context. I guess Serious Rod is saying that when it comes to like us walking our everyday lives, we keep running into black single mothers, that we should give them sympathy without context. And Serious Rod, I do believe that was the message of the movie. I didn't. That's why it's crazy to me that black women are having such an issue with the movie, when it's clearly a message to give black single mothers some sympathy. It's crazy. It's crazy work, if you ask me. that was part of the message of the film. Give these women some sympathy. You don't know what they're going through. You may just see a black single mother, but it's no real telling on how bad it actually is. Now, shout out to my main. Oh, go ahead. Then I get this in.
I'm surprised that he didn't drop the movie on Father's Day.
Now that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay. Maybe they thought that would just be way too blatant. Really. Now, shout out to Kyogami. He says at the Roger Report Live, I suspect it's like you often say, black women care most about their image. The movie puts them similarly as black men when it comes to criminal activity imaginary by white people, now seen as dangerous. Now, Gyogami, I do believe that you are correct in that scenario, but they are concerned of what white people are going to think about them. I think that's absolutely for sure. Now, I don't think this was the movie to flip out on, though, because, again, this one, you actually have a woman who's, I know people say delusional all the time. They call people crazy all the time, but this is a person who actually was that. That was the big thing about the reveal of the film. The lady doing all this stuff for this girl who's already dead. So you literally let black women off the hook by saying no, she crazy. Now, my thing is this: if you see yourself in the character of Janiyah, if you see yourself in that character, I mean, at the end of the day, she was acting like, people may say she was acting like a crazy person. If you see yourself in her, ain't that a problem? Ain't that a problem? I mean, she wasn't going through nothing all that much. Stuff kind of spiraled out of control, but I accept that it's a movie. So, you got to let stuff spiral out of control sometimes. The officer who messed with her, he was doing a little much. Let's just keep that real. He was doing a little much. But my thing was like, okay, it's no big deal because this don't really happen to black women. Now, if y'all didn't see the film, the officer who, in his perception, he got cut off. So he y'all know how they cops go behind somebody, they chase it and they make them spin out or whatever. So he spent her car. Her car basically went dead at that point. He was threatening that he's going to find a legal way to blow her head off. Okay, that's what he said. And you could take it as he meant it, Well, you could take it, a woman being told something like that is going to be afraid, and that's understandable. I can't say a woman being told something like that ain't gonna be afraid. And then he was a white man. So, white men are their leaders. So of course she has to deal with the fact that she done pissed off some white man, and that's something black women don't like to do. They don't like to piss off white men. So, she done disappointed the white man, and now he upset and she believes him. Cool. I get that. A little extreme, but it's a movie. And, and any random thing can happen to a person. Everybody is potentially capable of doing something that would, quote unquote, make it into a movie. So that's something that could happen to any random person here or there once you done piss the cop off. So I get that. Okay. Now, leaving the job to go to the school, we all know that's a problematic situation anyway. Okay. Dude gave her a half hour to be back. It took her 2 hours to get back. Her getting fired shouldn't be no surprise. That's simple at the end of the day. Your boss then gave you a half hour to go see about the school, which I thought he was kind of bogus because he only gave a half hour. Like, how you gonna go to a school and be back in a half hour? Even if the school across the street, how you gonna do that? I don't know. But he gave her a half hour. Then, she came back 2 hours late. So her getting fired was no mystery to me. I mean, it's 2 hours. He gave you a half hour. You was gone for triple the time that he gave you. Well, actually quadruple the time. Because you know what I'm saying? He gave her a half hour. It took her 2 hours to get back. That's quadruple the time he gave. Okay? So you had a half hour 3 different times of what you wasn't even supposed to be there. The first half hour, it was cool. Then it was 3 extra half hours that happened after that. So why not expect to get fired at that particular point? That just makes sense to me. Now her trying to get her check, and the boss saying, you know how it is, this company policy, once you get fired, we mail your check to you. Now I'm gonna say that he was being a little hardcore on that. He was being a little hardcore. But if you don't develop a good relationship with somebody you're gonna work with on a regular basis, they don't have to overextend themselves to you. And that's what it turns into. Now I think he could have just gave her that check. That's what I was thinking, because she's still gonna be owed another check, her last check or whatever. So he could have gave her that check. He was just being extra. Yeah, he was being extra with it at the end of the day, because now you're keeping 2 checks instead of 1. So I thought he was a little bogus on that. But I can see how people can interpret that, well, whether he was supposed to give her that check or mail that check too. I can get lost in translation for certain people. I'm gonna say he was a little bogus for just not giving her check at the end of the day. And I understand where he's coming from, because he's the pissed off boss. But I will say this: if I was the employee, he was gonna give me my check that day. You know what I'm saying? And that's real talk. That's real talk. I would have went home with my check. You know what I'm saying? And I could bet that. I'm going home with my check. We may have to go through something, but I'm already fired at this point. I'm going home with my check. So unfortunately, he had to die for her to get a check. But it is what it is. It ain't like it had something to do with her, and she got blamed for, the robbery, which I don't know why he blamed her. It just depends on what their relationship is. Okay. And like I said, he was just seemed like an old man tired of niggas. So I get it. She on the tomfoolery. And I'm going to say this, y'all, which I don't think a lot of black women consider as they were reviewing this film. She went to work, said she had to leave. He let her leave for a half hour. She takes the half hour. She comes back. And then when she gets back and she started talking about this check again, well, I mean, basically, as soon as she goes into his office, now he gets robbed. I can totally understand why that man would start having certain thoughts about, did she set this up or not? Okay. She came to work, she left work. She comes back, goes into his office, and as soon as she gets into the office, here comes somebody coming in the back door to rob him.
Yeah.
I mean,
too many pointy dinky.
Yeah, that was kind of reasonable. Okay. Him not giving her the check, I take that was a little unreasonable. He could have gave her that check and then mailed her last check. I totally get that. And you going according to your store policy. But her showing back up and then 2 guys coming to the back to rob him, now they do look like she set it up. You got to at least consider that, especially if you don't have a great relationship with the employee. So I think that was totally reasonable. Now I will give her some credit. Once she killed him, it's hard to say. I'm gonna give you some credit, but once she killed him, she didn't rob him, which she could have. She definitely could have robbed them at that particular point if there were no cameras there. No, it was cameras, because they did say that. So she didn't rob him. The money was out there literally on the table. She didn't rob. She just took her check. Okay. Okay.
She took what's hers. What's hers is hers. What's his is his.
Exactly. She wasn't overdoing it. Shout out to Serious Rock. He say Tyler was pulling at straws to make this storyline. Hey, that's why I said, to me, it's one of his best films. He actually showed he can write good films if he wants to. That's what I'm gonna say. Because this is an outrageous story to a certain degree. So I gotta give him credit for coming up with the story. It's definitely original. I ain't seen nothing like this one. So Janiyah, being the quote unquote good person she is, she done the robbery done happened. She done killed the manager, but she only takes her check. while there's money laying on the table because he was getting robbed. So he pulled out the money. She didn't take none of that money. She just wanted her check and then went across the street to cash her check. You know, the bank teller turned it into a robbery. That's what I'm going to say, y'all. The bank teller turned it into a robbery because it wasn't a robbery. She just went to get her check cash. Now, she didn't have her ID, but once the manager told you, go on, give, cash the lady check, that should have been the end of it. Now, the bank manager already seen that it was a gun, so she took it as a robbery or whatever the case is. So she already thought something bad was going on. She thought the lady had a bomb. All well and good, but all that lady behind the counter had to do was just cash that lady check so Janiyah could have just left. And everything would have been fine as far as that is concerned.
You can't tell them black queens nothing. That's what happened. Even their black queen supervisors or managers or whomever's above them in the hierarchical order can't tell them nothing. The snake is eating its tail.
Well, I'm gonna say they did create their own chaos. Now, that was the interesting part. Out of all the women that I saw talk about this movie, nobody mentioned that. Okay, nobody mentioned the fact that black women created their own hostage situation by you had a teller who just wouldn't cash a check. Now, I totally get why she wouldn't cash the check when she thought she was just a regular customer coming in there asking for the check to be cashed. I totally get that. She just said, hey, I need your ID. And, she don't want to lose her job over not getting the ID presented to her. So I'm still rocking with her on that. But once she saw the gun, if I'm the teller, okay, and you show me a gun and you say cash this check, I'm cashing that check. I don't care who check that is at that particular point. I'm cashing that check. I don't care if you got a check to say Donald Trump, U.S. government, payment for him being president of the United States. I don't care what's on that check at that point. I'm cashing that check. It just is what it is. We will sort the rest of this stuff out later. But I'm cashing that check. Real talk. They got a gun on me. Okay, well, at least they done showed me the gun. I ain't got time to play about it ain't my money at the end of the day. I don't get why people freeze up like that because it ain't my money at the end of the day. You got a gun. You tell me to cash a check. I'm just going to give you the money. It ain't my money no way. I'm good. So, I'm not, and I know some people like, well, the money's insured now. I ain't got nothing to think about. It ain't my money. I will give you some stranger's money if you got a gun on me. It's not for me to consider. There's literally zero for me to consider. I'm just going to give it to you. So I think, go ahead.
That's just black women protecting their white institution and their white master's interest. Okay? Guard that shit with your life.
Now, I'm not going to lie. Now, I did think about it in that terms. And black women do that, y'all. They do that on a regular basis. If they know white folks own it, they do actually stand and watch to make sure nobody messes with the white people stuff. That's something they do on a regular basis. So I cannot say I'm not shocked, but I'm looking at it in a realistic way, not some crazy emotional way. I wasn't doing no black girl math or whatever. I just look at it. They got a gun. I'm cashing the check. Okay. And then once my manager walked over there to me, like if I'm in that woman's place, my manager just walked over there and told me to cash the check. So I'm doubly good. I didn't need my manager to say that because you got a gun. And I don't care if I had a gun on me. I'm not going to fight you over the bank's money. That's not my struggle. At the end of the day, that ain't my struggle. So I would have easily turned that money over and she would have been left messing with me. Okay, she would have been left messing with me. This is not my struggle. Screw the bank's money. Just is what it is. And somebody can say, oh, you wrong for saying that. Hey, whatever. Don't put me in charge of the money. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell you who took it. What I ain't going to do is put my life on the line for it. I tell you who took it, though.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah. And I did security, y'all. I literally worked at a bank, in the vault room and all that stuff where they count the money up and all that. I ain't never take no money. Ain't never really think about taking no money. You know what I'm saying? Or anything like that, But real talk, if you can get into that vault room, that's yours. Because I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna protect the bank's money. If you could get back there into that vault room, that's yours. You got it. You know what I'm saying? That's yours, chief. You got it, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
you
saying?
just work here.
Yeah, it's some over there, boss. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna fight you. You know what I'm saying? I tell the person, quick, bro, I'm security. I don't get paid enough to really guard and stuff like that. Bro, you got back here is yours. It is
Yeah,
what it is. I help you take it to the truck if you want me to.
yeah.
But
You
the
just
last
work
thing
here.
I'm about to do is defend this money. Okay, this is just how I get a check, bro. You ain't got to shoot me. I don't care nothing about this. Real talk. Okay, I don't care nothing about this. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Okay, I mess around. I see somebody coming in to rob. I mess around, turn around in the chair and put my hand up, man. Hey, I don't see nothing.
I ain't see shit.
Yeah. Hey, bro, y'all do what y'all do. I don't see nothing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be like I was at lunch when all this went down. You know what I'm saying? I was at lunch. I ain't seen nothing. But they did create their own terrible situation at the end of the day by the woman just not cashing a simple $521 and some change check. It's a lot of that's a good amount of money to go to prison for. I say that. But I would say at least in this case, they lock up in the loony bin. She wouldn't necessarily go to a quote unquote real prison. She probably just get locked up. She literally delusional. Because what is the judge gonna do once you defend her and say what actually happened? She gonna have to spend some time. And it may not even be that long. That's my thing. It may not even be that long once they say what was going on, because she didn't have no bomb, even though they thought she had one. So you can't really get her for bomb charges. Now, when it comes to robbing the bank, she technically never attempted to rob the bank. She only wanted to cash her check. That's it. So the only thing they really got her on is the hostage situation. Now, technically, she didn't let the people out the bank once stuff started going down. So they technically can get her for the hostage stuff. But I would assume that in court, they're not going to even hold you for the hostage stuff, because once the story is explained, they just going to kind of put her in the mental facility, and if she can just come back to real life and grasp the fact that her daughter is dead, they'll let her out. She might get 2 years in the loony bin, as they say, and be good to go. It just wasn't
I
that
don't.
big a deal.
I don't even think she'd get 2 years, because technically she didn't try to rob the bank, and she did not hold anybody hostage.
Nah, man, I ain't gonna say that. She held them hostage. Now she once the situation turned into what it was, and she was saying that you got to get that white officer off the scene, who said he said if he found a way to legally blow her head off, that he was gonna do it. Now he just said that earlier that day, so I can understand her actually being terrified of him. So I'm gonna say no. At that point, she did hold hostages because she didn't let them just leave. She let the old couple walk out and you know what, y'all? I'm gonna say this: if you watched the film and you saw what I saw, that old man with his wife, he said, "Man, I'm getting up out. I ain't finna deal with this." And what he do? He walked out. He ain't run out.
Yeah, so
He didn't try to do nothing, quote unquote, heroic. He was just like, "Man, I ain't finna take this. I ain't got all day. I'm old enough as it is. I ain't finna spend precious time of my life sitting in here during this bank ride and walk out." You know what I'm saying?
so also that technically means that the rest of the people would have just walked out.
They could have walked out earlier. They could have earlier. They could have. They didn't, though. You know what I'm saying? But then it did turn into a hostage situation when she told him not to leave. So once she said that, it became a hostage situation. At first, they was just in there and they wasn't told anything. They weren't hostages at the end of the day. The old man realized they weren't hostages, so he took his wife and they left. All I'm gonna say is, y'all, whether Tyler meant to do this or not, do y'all see how it worked out when the women were married? I don't think Tyler was trying to give that message, but the old man was with his wife. And he was just like, man, I'm finna leave. I ain't finna deal with all this. I'm leaving. And he simply walked up out of there. Now,
Old man,
go ahead.
old man said, I'm too old for this
You're definitely in his mind, he said that. And when the guy tried to tackle her and get the gun and the gun went off, he went out too. So my thing is like, yo, people just walking up out of there. Now, this is where I got to say, you can't be acting like a 9/11 victim. All right. Now, why do I say a 9/11 victim? Because when stuff started happening in 9/11, everybody didn't just get up and leave. When you are in a situation where there's a lot of danger, you just get up and leave. You know, I understand people worry about their jobs and their positions and all that. I can talk to my boss tomorrow and get my stuff situated. You know what I'm saying? We get all this straightened out tomorrow. What I'm gonna do today is get up and leave with my life. Now, I'm not saying every 9/11 victim had a chance, but after that first plane hit, everybody under the floors who got hit in the first tower and the folks in the second tower had the option to just get up and leave, and they should have left. You know, if I'd have known what happened, you know, now, and I'd be reasonable. If I'm in Tower 2 and I see Tower 1 get hit and I find out everything cool because it was a plane that hit Tower 1, I might have stayed. But they did make an announcement that said, if y'all feel uncomfortable, y'all can leave. Now, I know me. Even if I would have stayed when the first tower got hit, even if I would have stayed, once I heard them announce that if you uncomfortable, you can leave, oh, I'm gone.
Hell yeah.
It's that simple at the end of the day. I'm gone.
I got Netflix, I got Call of Duty. Man, I'm out.
Yeah. Right. I just got to get out of jail free card at the job. I'm out. It's that simple at the end of the day. I'm gone, you know? So,
and they'll pay me for the rest of the time? They'll pay me for the rest of for the full 8 hours? Man, I'm out.
Well, they didn't necessarily say that, but I don't care. Now, if they would have said that, then 100% for sure. But I'm gonna say this, you know, I don't know to say anything about paying anybody. I can't say that, but the fact that there's a plane in the building across the street or whatever, I'm gone, because I didn't know about this at the time, but I found out later that, you know, that's a no-fly zone, so there shouldn't be no planes in that area anyway. So now I got to think about it. If I'm there and then I'm aware that this is a no-fly zone because I work there, so I'm gonna know what's going on, and there's a plane across the street, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't got time for this, man. Real talk. It's a plane in the building across the street. It's time for me to let y'all go for the day. You know, yeah, it's an incredible thing. We can talk about it on the way down. Cause I'm leaving. Oh, excuse me, I'm leaving. We can talk about this on the way down. Cause I'm out. Okay. You know, shout out to.
All right, go ahead. We got super chat.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, shout out to the great pretender. He said, nah, mandatory evacuation. Yeah, real talk. My thing is, it would have been mandatory for me. That's real talk, y'all. It would have been mandatory for me. So now, if I'm in that bank and I watch that old couple leave, I would have been like, I'm leaving too. Real talk, y'all. And I know people say, well, you don't know what you would do in a situation. Now, I've actually been on a bus. I remember back in the day, I was on a bus. Coming out of downtown. I think I was coming out of downtown. I was on a bus close to my stop. Some crazy guy got on the bus, started talking his blue steel stuff. I look up, that man done pulled out a gun, talking crazy about what he was gonna do. And I just simply, you know, pulled that string that let the bus driver know that this is my stop. Because the bus driver just kept going like, dude was not crazy. He was right next to the bus driver talking all this crazy. Then he pulled out the gun. So I automatically just, boom, this is my next stop. You know, now it wasn't my stop. Luckily, I was close to home. But I don't care where I would have been. It was going to be my next stop, period. And I just got off. And I actually watched that bus keep going. And I looked to see if anybody else was going to get off. And what surprised me is I didn't see nobody get off at the next stop. I'm like, them some stupid people. Real talk. They some stupid people. So there's people who panic in situations, and then there's people who are just dumb. I don't know what everybody's scenario is. All I know is in this movie, it became a hot situation because people just didn't get up and leave. They could have left, but they didn't leave, which was dumb. And then it turned into where they couldn't leave. So it is what it is. Shout out to y'all, boy. He said Roger was slowly unscrewing the mop stick. Now, it wasn't gonna be like no Coming to America, but I was gonna get myself out of there. Well, hey, when I see danger, I leave. That's real talk, y'all. When I see danger, I leave. I got a good sense of where. You never know when danger can get you, but I got a good sense when danger's around. So when I see it getting too hectic, I leave. Real talk, it just is what it is. We'll figure this out tomorrow if it's that serious, But my thing is, this character Janiyah was not doing anything with any real malice intent. Okay, she was off because she was a single mother. Her child, had these special issues going on with him. Well, with her, I should say. Sure. She was losing her grip with reality. I understand getting evicted is rough, and getting evicted and fired on the same day is even rougher. Especially getting evicted, fired on the day while you believe your child is asking for $40. That's a whole lot to deal with for any particular person. But at the end of the day, it's one day at a time, man. Go ahead.
No. Go continue.
Yeah. My thing is, it's one day at a time. What is the big deal about just handling this stuff one day at a time? Now, I didn't muster any sympathy up for a single mother. I did understand that was the message that they was trying to give me. I did catch that as I was watching the film. Like, man, they must want me to really feel sorry for these single mothers. I literally said that in my mind, y'all. They must really want me to feel sorry for these single mothers. Now, I understand that this is just a choice that a lot of Black women just make. So I didn't have any sympathy for them. And as I watched the reviews, when the Black woman was saying Tyler Perry wants these Black women to feel quote unquote broken. My thing is this what Tyler Perry wants Black women to feel, or is Tyler Perry just putting out entertainment that his followers can relate to? Because Tyler Perry does have he got his core fan base. Is this him trying to make his core fan base look bad? Or is this him trying to give his core fan base something to relate to? Because you hear a lot of Black women talking about the struggles of single mothers. So he made a movie that I think a single mother could pretty much relate to. The only thing that's different is this one was actually crazy. The other single mothers who just out here and they on social media nowadays and they saying all this stuff, well, they don't have the luxury of being crazy. Janiyah got the luxury of being crazy, which made it all make sense. But she was living in this world where, it wasn't revealed to the audience that the daughter she's quote unquote fighting for is already dead. She's not alive and well. What was she doing very differently than a lot of single mothers? The cops scaring you didn't do nothing. I get it. You got robbed. Well, no, technically you didn't get robbed. You were really just there when your manager got robbed or the owner of the store got robbed. Okay, whatever he was, the owner, the manager, whatever the case is. Truth be told, Janiyah didn't get robbed. Did they take anything from her? I'm trying to think. Did they take anything from her?
And they tried to take her back fashion. But they
yeah.
Roger, they took her dignity.
What dignity?
No, Roger. She got robbed. Her dignity got took. In her mind. It don't matter. What we think is what they feel. See, SOB, let me use that word.
Well, I'm saying, bro, she was already fired. What dignity? If we don't go with the, because I get where you're coming from, but I'm just saying.
Take away my dignity.
Hey, but
whatever.
if we gonna go with dignity, she just got fired. So what dignity is left? Okay.
You know,
She
you know
just
what?
got fired.
I almost felt sorry for her, and I almost felt sorry for all the single mothers. But then I remember I'm not 6'8". They ain't messing with me like that. Apparently, I'm too broke for them, and also too dark skinned. I'm like, oh, you know what? Since y'all ain't messing with me like that, why should I care? I'm pushing it 500 steps further. Why should I care
And
that a cops threaten you to blow up your caboose, which he's not
and
gonna
you
do?
not paying $500 for a first date neither. So
Yeah.
we not worried about their dignity.
Right.
What?
Even if I wanted one, they don't want me. I said, you know what? Fine. I'll lower my standard and go for one of them struggling single mothers. And they say, nah, you ain't good enough. It has to be Tyrone with a 68 and a 15-inch Johnson
What?
and all
What?
his money.
Well, to be fair, we never saw what the man looked like that gave Janai the baby. To be fair, so we don't know. He might have been 6'8". Who knows? We didn't see that guy. We didn't hear anything about that guy, so we don't know what he was like. Now,
Probably a
my
sperm
thing is,
donor.
yeah. Now my thing is this. Okay, so I'm not even looking at it as I wouldn't care because some black woman did something or anything toward me or any behavior. The reason I wouldn't care is just because these are just choices people make at the end of the day. If you're living a life in this particular universe, Janiyah chose to be a single mother. Okay, as far as we know, because we didn't hear anything bad that happened to some guy who was married to her, and we didn't hear he got his head blown away while he was at the military, putting in work for his family. We ain't hear nothing like that. We just got this daughter out of nowhere. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? That's choices that single mothers make on a regular basis. They make choices to be single mothers. Okay, cool. So now my thing is I gotta respect her right to be one. As long as the dude didn't trip about it like that, I mean it's her right at the end of the day. So I don't be concerned with people's rights like that. It's like me feeling sorry for somebody who got drunk. I mean, you got a right to get drunk, but don't think I'm gonna feel sorry for you if something bad happened to you while you drunk. That don't make sense to me. I it ain't like I have well, I mean, just keeping it real. I try to do what I can to love humans the way I'm supposed to. Okay, that's what I do. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna fight you over the fact that you got drunk. And if I take out the time to say, hey, give me your keys or something like that or whatever, and let's say somehow you get your keys back, you didn't kill yourself. I don't feel sorry for nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? That you were drunk at the time, wasn't the best decision making, but it is your life. I ain't tripping. It is what it is. I ain't tripping. So Janiyah obviously made some choices that were not necessarily the best choices for her life. I'm not tripping about her choices. And I think, what Tyler Perry is doing, at least in this particular perspective, because I thought this was one of his better movies. That Acrimony movie, I did like that one a little better than this movie. So for me, I guess this is number 2 as far as the Tyler Perry movie is concerned. This is number 2 for me.
That's the second movie on Tyler Perry that I've ever watched. I don't watch his movies, but this one, the twist was good. Like, okay, that's decent.
Well, I don't like watching his movies either. But I will watch them now because, like I said, I'm a content creator, so I will watch the movies. And when he put out For Color Girls, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me all them years ago, y'all. That was the straw that broke the camel. I came out of that film like, yeah, Joe, I'm done with dude. I've been trying to support him as a black man because he making movies, and I was just like, man, I'm done with dude. I can't mess with his movies no more. So until I became a content creator, I didn't see any of them. You know, it is what it is. Now I went back and seen some stuff because I do this type of work now, but this still is like his second best movie to me. I did like the Acrimony movie a little bit better. So I don't know why these women are getting on this case, because you got the quote unquote beat down black woman that was paid by Taraji, but she was actually crazy, which means she was doing the best she can, but she's an unstable woman. And maybe that's what it was that shout out to Ryan the Cypher. He said Jania's baby daddy could have been DJ from Hustle and Flow. Oh, well, I guess enough time has passed. You never know. You never know. But you know, to me, it gave black women you know, complete freedom, because of the fact that if you looked at this as a crazy black single mother, you still also have to accept the fact that, you know, she was literally crazy. It wasn't just somebody calling her crazy. She's literally off at this particular point. And her being as off as she was, you know, could justify all the different things that she's done. Now, if she's going to go down for the death of the bank manager, probably not. You know, because she did actually murder the bank manager. You know, she got pissed off. He kept talking crazy. She got pissed off and she shot him. You know, which I didn't see anybody kind of highlight. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I heard somebody say, you know, she helped. Well, I'm talking about the manager of the grocery store. She literally killed the manager of the grocery store, which they said she helped some kind of way. She straight up murdered that guy. You know, he was like, she got something to do with it, and she blasted him over it. At the end of the day, she was protecting her reputation. You ain't gonna get on the you ain't gonna get on 911 telling them I arranged this. That's what you're not gonna do. And then she killed them as if she was part of the arrangement. You know, so that was wild in itself to me. You know, but I get it, and it is a movie, and I try to understand some of this stuff is happening in this movie world. You know, I thought that was a bad move on her part, but now because we found out all this is over this dead daughter, she can get off for, you know, she's going to get off because she's crazy. The only reason she shot guy is because she's literally crazy. That will be what a person would do from a defense standpoint. Okay. Now,
Roger, let me ask you this question, Roger.
Well, let me just say this real quick. Shout out to Last. Well, I'm gonna just say Last Dragon. I'm just gonna say Last Dragon. Okay. Shout out to you. Appreciate the cash out, my brother. Appreciate the cash out. Thanks a whole lot. All right, go ahead, brother.
All right. Because every scenario you just presented, you just posed, you take the actor Taraji P. Henson out of the equation, and you put in any black male random actor. Does those scenarios qualify him for being crazy?
Well, I hate to reduce black men to black women. Okay, I hate to do that.
No,
but
the reason why I'm asking this
I
question.
get why. I was gonna answer because I totally get why. Because what you're saying is black man having a bad day. Now he just happened to be there, and the manager get robbed. Now he pulls the trigger and kills the manager. Is he about to get off for this? Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If he goes to the bank across the street with a gun out, even if he's saying just cash my check, is he gonna get any level of sympathy at all? Oh, absolutely not. You know, all right? If he ends up thinking that he might die because some cop wronged him earlier that day, so he holds some hostages, Is he gonna make it out of this? Oh, absolutely not. Truth be told, he may not make it out of this alive. Let's just keep it real. He probably gonna die at the scene.
Yeah.
So why are we having sympathy for this woman again?
Well, no, my thing is, it's not about having sympathy. I think the movie was trying to draw sympathy for the single mother. I think that was like literally the message behind the movie. That's why I'm saying black women having a bad reaction to the movie seems a little bit off when he was trying to get to me, the message was give the single mother the sympathy. That was literally the message of the movie. With that being the message of the movie, I don't understand why it's so many black women talking against it. You know, this is the one time he said, man, y'all, the struggle is real. The struggle is a little bit more than what y'all can think it is, and you don't know what the woman is going through. You know, maybe her child got special needs when you look at her. You may not know that that's what she's dealing with. You know, you may not know she's dealing with eviction being hung over her head. You know, you don't know what's going on with a single mother. That's literally the message that he was sending through the movie. So for a black woman to say that he's doing something wrong just seems kind of off to me. It's like, what do y'all want from the guy? You know, he done gave you struggle. He done gave you pain. Y'all done supported the struggle and pain. And then, like I said, it did go to number 1 on Netflix, to my understanding. So if it went to number 1, I believe they watching it. So why?
You know they watch it, brother. Anything he throws out there, they go watch. Then they go criticize race. They go always support they boo. How is they boo, man?
and this is my thing, right? And I'm not saying you need black people to watch a Tyler Perry movie for it to go number 1. But let's be realistic. They got a huge part to do with the fact that it was tracking. Now, I'm not saying white people ain't watching it too. I'm sure that white people are watching it for it to go to number 1 on Netflix. But for me to even pretend black women wasn't jumping on that movie the day it came out is crazy work. I'm not finna pretend they didn't do that. Of course they did that. That's what they do. And then my thing is, you know, he gave y'all an excuse for acting a fool. With this particular woman who acted a fool, and in the cases where she did, well, you know, the white guy pissed off, white supremacy was messing with her that morning. You know, she got a boss that's just hard on her, whatever the case is. Now, again, y'all, the way he came off to me was like he just tired of dealing with niggas based on the stuff he was saying. But the women ain't gonna interpret it like that. They're gonna just look at it pretty much. I believe the people who complain I'm talking about. The ones who are complaining, they're just gonna look at it as, yeah, you know, you got this boss treating her bad for no real reason. Okay. And then, you know, the employees at the bank, you know, they were just scared. So they was just doing what they were doing because they were scared. You know, but we should give her a break. Because I would think most black women would have wanted Janiyah to get away with it. And I think Tyler did a great job to even throw in this whole people protesting, talking about let her go. Now, as ridiculous as that sounds, if she was able to get a message out to the public, but she was able to get a message out because old girl was recording her, you know, on live. So she was able to say what she was saying. What's the average black people gonna do? They're gonna go up there and try to save them. So you got all these people that came up to the bank trying to rescue this chick who was literally in the middle of a hostage situation. So yeah, if that's a brother, yeah, he getting smoked, man. They not gonna let no brother come out there. A brother ain't holding nobody hostage that long and not getting shot. That's just not happening. Cause what's going on? You got all them white folks who there. White folks is missing the game with their son, quote unquote. They missing dinner time with the family, quote unquote. They missing the play that they had bought tickets to take they wife out for their anniversary, you know, quote unquote. There all these situations going on in their life that got interrupted because this brother done took control over a bank and some hostages. Yeah, they're not letting them walk away. That's real talk. I'm not gonna say what he would have got charged with because I don't think he'll make it to charges. I'm pretty sure he's dead. They're gonna storm into that bank and they're gonna pop dude. You know, and people may say, "Well, what about the other hostages?" Well, it was a bunch of black people there, y'all. They was gonna take a risk. That's what I'm gonna say. It was a bunch of other black people. You know, they'll take a bigger risk at that point. You know, they're not as anti-black woman, but she's still a nigga at the end of the day. And if you get in white supremacist way of getting at a black man, they'll take you out too because they don't really care about you like that. So it just is what it is. So I don't want to reduce a man down to being a woman, but yeah, this is a whole different scenario if a man is in charge of the situation.
I remember the situation down in Florida where a guy was trying to rob a bank and he got shot in the head, and the bullet went through a computer screen and hit him in the head. So I can tell you something.
Yeah, they hit him with something serious. That's what that meant. They hit him with something. They was gonna make sure he wasn't gonna. This was it. Yeah, they was definitely making sure that this was it. So that I would expect something like that to really go on if a guy was doing this situation. But this was a movie. I thought it gave a great sympathetic message about look what black women have gone through. You know, they gave a generational message because you got the one woman who's concerned with her daughter of the present. You got Officer, I don't remember what the name was. I'm just going to call her Richardson for now. I don't remember what the name was. Okay, maybe that was it, maybe it wasn't. But Tiana Taylor played her. You had her step up to the plate to negotiate with the hostage. Even the white male hostage negotiator said, "No, let her keep going." So she was quote unquote shining in the moment. And then she gave this whole story about how her mama was a single mother and how even though stuff was bad, she still loved her mama and it's gonna be all right. You know, so she was being a superstar in the whole situation. So I just took it that black women were getting exactly what you would expect them to want. I didn't see why they would have a problem with this film. It's
Tiana
crazy
Taylor
to
for
me.
herself is a single mother in real life. Let's not forget.
Well, I would think that the single mothers in real life would have really, really, you know, love this movie. That's what I would, you know what I mean? That's my real they would really, really love this particular movie. Because it was so it gave to me it just gave an excuse to them. Real talk. You know, and an excuse that it would be hard for a lot of people to say in public and not get a backlash for it at the end of the day. So I just didn't get why it was so many black women who had something bad to say about it. I mean, I thought, you know, like AL said, Tyler Perry's supposed to be their boo. You know, I don't even get it. You know,
Roger, the snake is eating its tail. Ain't no straight black men to blame. So ergo, they gonna turn on each other. That's what's going on.
well, yeah, in the film there wasn't any. Well, no, they gonna blame that the store manager or owner, whatever he was. They gonna blame him. This all his fault at the end of the day. if he would have been a better boss, somehow she would have. The situation would have been totally different. If he'd been a better boss, you know.
Yeah. Give her an undeserved raise, smash her in the back door and pay for the child care. Yeah, he have been the hero.
All right, we got Champ Card for life coming up. So Champ Card, you got it, my brother. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on? I hope you all had a really good weekend. Happy belated Father's Day to all the black fathers out there who are doing a good job taking care of their children and everything else.
And all the dad that stepped up.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And,
exactly.
and shout out to all the fathers who lost custody of their child by the time before the child had their second birthday. Shout out to all y'all too.
Yeah,
Thank you, Roger. I
exactly.
appreciate that. Thank you.
You were welcome. But anyway, Raj, I saw parts of this movie a week ago at a when at a hairdresser and everything else.
Oh God.
And let me tell you, I
Don't
saw
say
parts of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
hold on. You telling me them women was out there bootlegging Tyler stuff? Is that what you saying? They was out here bootlegging? Not Tyler Perry stuff. They ain't bootlegging Tyler. Oh, snap. Golly. They bootlegging Tyler. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
Well, anyway, I saw parts of the movie, and I saw that part where that police officer was berating that sister and everything else. And
hold on, y'all. I'm joking, y'all, because this was on Netflix, so it could have just been on in any random place. It could have been on in any random place. But go ahead,
anyway, I'm watching this, and how that police officer was just berating that sister and everything else, and the way how she was being treated at that grocery store where she was working at, and then and she gets fired, and then next you know, the crap starts going down at where she worked at. She shoots her and she kills a robber, then shoots her former boss. And some of the ladies were like, "Yeah, there you go, sis." And here she is, at the and that part where she was at the at the bank, holding him hostage and everything else. Some of these sisters was like, it was almost like they were making an excuse for her behavior and her actions.
Almost.
And, yeah. And after that, I'm gonna watch the rest of it, sometime this week and all that. But I was just like amazed to see some of them sisters were like, who liked this movie and everything. I mean, they loved it. I mean, they love some of the Tyler Perry movies and all that. They love a lot of this drama, with single mothers, black baby mamas, doing all this type of crap and everything else. Now, like I said, I didn't like that police officer incident, but I just kind of wish that I just wish that she'd have shot the police officer rather than the two brothers at the grocery store.
We can't have that on TV.
Huh?
We can't have the destruction of white male bodies on TV by black
Yeah.
people. You know that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like some of these sisters who watch this movie, who watch this type of stuff from Tyler Perry, they're programmed to dislike black men. Black
It's
men
not.
are to blame for everything.
It's not. It's like it is. It is them espousing their misandry.
Yeah, they're espousing the
Remember,
misandry and all that type of stuff.
they are not
Instead of
our women.
instead of not espousing their misandry and their in their dislike for the system of white supremacy, especially with that police officer berating them, I'm like, why don't you guys push it for that sister to go up there and shoot that police officer? Oh, I get it. You don't want to do that because you don't want to see a white body be getting, on the ground and everything else.
Yeah,
Everything is about the black women being beaten down and all that type of stuff. And she needs to be and she deserves to get away with it. Especially shooting two black men. Because the black man is just this evil, no good son of a gun and all that type of stuff. Taking the page off of Alice Walker in The Color Purple. So I'm gonna land my plane right there.
Well, the black women say that she helped them. Okay, you got the bank robber and you got the store manager, the grocery store manager, and she done shot the bank robber. The black woman say she helped him, even though she turned around and shoot him too. I don't know what kind of help that is.
Exactly.
I don't know what kind of help that is.
It's psychiatry.
So
the psychiatry of this,
Well, yeah, what I'm trying to say, the fact that you celebrate the two dudes who got shot that was black, but the white man was just told to go home and everything cool. You know what I'm saying? We gonna say that white man because one of us might have to have sex with him one day. So we can't have nothing bad happen to him. We can't have nothing bad happen to that white guy.
Nothing. White man gets away with it. He can go up there and call you the N word and all that type of stuff and get away with it. And you like, and I was looking at the sisters, at the hair salons and everything else, who was like, how awful. But then the two black brothers get shot and killed. Like, ooh. I mean, it's almost like they're getting a kick out of that.
Man, they said that she helped him.
Yeah.
She helped him. He got murdered, but somehow he got help.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay.
Now, I don't blame some of the other sisters who are not happy about this. So I just want to shout out to those sisters who are against this type of stuff.
Well, no, my thing is I'm looking at why they against it, and I didn't really see no great reason. And actually, it ain't like they was like like supportive black men or something like that. It's why I ain't like the film. It wasn't nothing like that going on because I actually went through them and listened to what they had to say. So they were on some other stuff. They were acting like Tyler Perry didn't do enough for black women to get sympathy when they're in a single mother position. When, to me, clearly the whole picture was about giving black women sympathy when they single mothers. They act like he didn't do enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't think they're against it for any reason.
Yeah, some of the sisters, we saw were unequal because of
as
that.
the winner. If they can't ride off into Sunset as the winner and cast as the heroic hero in any of his movies, they're gonna be perpetually mad. Period.
Well, I mean, in this particular film, I would say the hero would be, I can't remember what the officer's name was. I'm just saying Officer Richardson for now. The one Tiana Taylor played would be the hero of the film. You got you a black woman hero who was dressed extra sharp to be at work for being a police. She was extra glowed up, extra glammed, as they say, to be at work as a police officer. But she was like the hero. She was the one that made sure it was a safe arrest. She was the one that found out what white officer had her scared to come out when she had the people as hostages in the bank. She talked her down and all that type of stuff. So I mean, if that was a hero of the movie, it would have had to be that officer.
Yeah, she's the real hero in all this movie. That's what I thought that this movie was about. It was about this sister who was a police officer who grew up, was a single parent and all that. And at the end of the day, she sympathized with this sister and everything else. Therefore, she needs some sort of a pass and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say that the way the audience is supposed to follow the film. You've displayed these multiple struggles that black women have to go through to be a single mother. Then you have the quote unquote child of the single mother, because that's who that officer was. Say, hey, I understood that at that time my mama couldn't pay the bill and we couldn't get this and we couldn't get that, but I loved my mama. So now you got the child of the single mother giving praise to the single mother. So I didn't get why black women were having an issue with this. Now I'm gonna say in real life, it ain't gonna necessarily go down that smooth, where you gonna have a bunch of kids praising a single mama. That's not what I'm seeing. But in the film, the child of the single mother gave her single mother praises. So the mother got her flowers, at least to Janaya, who's concerned with her daughter, even though her daughter happens to be dead. But Officer Richardson gave Janaya the viewpoint that the child of a single mother loves a single mother and appreciate all they do. So I don't see why black women had an issue with this particular film, because their whole thing is like what Janaya was shown as this beat down individual single mother, her hair wasn't done, and they attacking stuff like that. But my thing is like, y'all, the message in the film is that she got a lot to do and a lot to take care of, and she's being pulled in all these multiple directions at the same time. So if you're gonna let something go, now this is the sad part about it to me. If you're gonna let something go as a single mother, wouldn't not looking your absolute best be one of the first things you should let go? Wouldn't that be that? Wouldn't the not having your face made up be one of the things that you let go if you got a lot of stresses? Shouldn't your hair not quote unquote be done all the time? Should be one of the first things you let go if you're dealing with all these stresses of being a single mother to this child with these special issues going on that you're trying to help resolve. Why would you be totally glammed up? But I guess even in all this, and even when you're facing an eviction, as a Black woman, you must be totally glammed up at all times, which made no sense to me. Okay. And let me say, shout out to Gilgamy. He says, you're revealing something important at the Roger Report Live. The single mother is not really portrayed as a hero. Crazy. Her child is dead. She can't provide housing, funds, treatment for the child. No, you know what? Maybe Gilgamy, maybe that's what really pissed them off. That maybe it's because the single mother was not the hero. Because the film offered a lot of stuff that you would look at and say, I think the average person would look at and say, we should feel sorry for these single mothers. But Gilgamy, maybe you just hit the nail on the head. Maybe it's because Officer Richardson, which I'm not sure if that was her name. I don't remember exactly what the name was. But that Officer Richards, that's what we call him for now, that was played by Tiana Taylor, was the hero instead of Janiyah being the hero. Maybe that's exactly why they pissed off, and it's hard for them to really, give a good reason for being pissed off. So, Gilgamy, I'm gonna say you probably shedding the right light on that one. Janiyah should have been a hero for all of them to feel better, instead of Officer Richardson being a hero for all of them to feel better. I guess that's really what it was, Now, Landry did say that's not how Black women think, Roger. Well, you got to clarify that for me. You got to clarify that. What do you mean that's not how Black women think? Are you disagreeing, or did I just catch that at a bad time and you are agreeing? Okay. Now, shout out to Ryan Decipher. He says the film portrays them as being inadequate. Hits too close to home for most of them. Now, I can definitely see that part. And I did look at it like it may be hitting a little too close to home for them. But at the end of the day, it was trying to draw sympathy. So how you gonna get the sympathy if you don't show no struggle? How you gonna get the sympathy if you don't show any struggle? And shout out to Landon. He says glam over children, Roger. Okay, I got you. Even though the single mother's going through all that stuff, she should have stayed glammed up and on point no matter what. Now that part, I can totally get why you saying Black women don't think like that. I can totally get that. And you're right, because my thing is that should be what they sacrifice. But let's keep it real. If you see single mothers struggling online, when they actually admit that they're struggling, usually they don't be all messed up. The glam be there. The glam, whatever their version of glam is, the glam be there. So you're right, Landon. They don't really think that way. That's for sure. Now, Jado has come up, y'all. So let me go ahead and give the mic to Jado. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, good morning, Roger. Salute fellas on the panel, everybody in the chat. Hey, Roger, I've listened to most of the show today. What was the actual complaints that you say Black women were giving about the film? Did you get what they were complaining about, or what they didn't like about it, or?
Well, a lot of them was on the way to Taraji. Look, she was not, and she wasn't presented the way that they wanted a Black single mother struggling to be presented. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
The other issue was a Black man's talking down to a Black woman. Grocery store manager or boss, whatever he was. Talking to Janiyah. They wasn't really digging that. Okay.
Okay.
Some of it was amazingly the way the character was being portrayed, she wasn't competent enough. You know,
Okay.
yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
they
I
made a
mean,
flurry of stuff. It was a flurry of issues going on with the black woman because they said so many different things. You know, the
right.
black woman not getting enough help, not getting the village support that she's supposed to have as a black woman. Janiyah was out there kind of on her own. They gave it was a multitude of different reasons why they didn't like
Okay.
it. Wasn't making a lot of sense to me, but hey, it is what it is.
And I'm asking that question, Roger. I mean, I know black women pretty well, as you know, a lot of you gentlemen do as well. So I could have came up with that myself, but I wanted to hear exactly what you heard them say, and I knew that's what it was, man. They wanted Janiyah, Taraji, to be a bad, good looking, bad boss B handling business. She really the way she was kind of sloppy with her stuff, even down to her unaliving, those two black men. It was kind of sloppy. If she would have did it like cleaner in a more like a equalizer type of manner, maybe they wouldn't be complaining. And also what I would say that they would complain about possibly if and this would change the entire script of the movie, but let's say that the actual white negotiator that was there, if he would have been more kind and loving and caring towards the struggle of a single black mother, that would have made it look a little better. And also that cop, the police officer that threatened to kill her or whatever, if he hadn't have done that, if he'd have been, yeah, but it's all right, you're having a hard day, I understand, then that would have been a reason for them not to complain or whatever. But I just came up real quick for this, right? I guess, I watched the movie. I'm kind of careful with what I watch these days because I know, man, these things we put little things in your subconscious, man, and you think, I try to stay conscious, but this stuff can get to me too. Like, so I'll end up sympathizing with a single mother, so to speak, an anti-family woman, and end up, doing something for her that I shouldn't be doing for her, because this thing that tugged at my heartstrings. But if this woman was delusional, right? How do I know that the manager at the store or the owner of the store, the manager, I don't know, Glenn Turman's character, how do I know that she wasn't being delusional with him yelling at her and cussing her out and all that stuff?
Oh snap! Oh snap!
How do I know that? How do I know that even happened? I mean, so I assume that that white police officer, what he did, I guess it happened because but even that might not have happened. You know what I'm saying? Because she was delusional, right? So I mean, when was it reality and when was it her just imagining things? I know the stuff that other people could corroborate. She obviously killed the guy that attempted to rob the grocery store, and her manager or the owner of the store, her boss. That happened because the other cops like, yeah, these people were they're dead, right? You know what I'm saying? But how do I know all these other bad things actually happened to her? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, I don't. It's all about the imaging, how it looks. Did she look like a boss bee? Did she look good while she was doing it, even though she killed two black men? Did she look good while she was doing it or not? So I think that's their main concern. Anyway, I'll end right there, Roger. Thanks for having me up.
Well, I will say, there was a lot of commentary on how she looked as this stuff was going down. Yo, black women clearly showed that they cared about how Taraji looked, and they were saying she looked beat down. Okay, so they was clear on that note. Okay, clear. All right, before if nothing else was clear about what happened in this movie, they was clear about the fact that Taraji looked beat down, and they did not appreciate her looking beat down as this movie progressed. Okay, so that definitely was there. Kind of crazy that caught so much attention when there was a lot of other things to see about this particular film. And I'm just sitting there like, man, if Tyler trying to get you sympathy and portray your struggle, why would she look like Officer Richardson if that was the name? Okay, why would she look all glammed up while she's having this mental breakdown? Like, that's not gonna get you sympathy. Do you not understand that part? You know, he trying to get the black woman some sympathy, and she upset that she don't look good enough. Why why Tyler trying to get her the sympathy? I mean, it's crazy work.
Hold on, Roger. Hold on. You keep talking about this officer who is glammed up. Have you ever seen a single police officer / detective on their budget be able to afford the type of outfits that this woman had on or look the way she looked? Come on now. That's why I can't with you, and I can't with this movie, and I can't with Tyler Perry. I just can't.
Well, I'm saying she was extra glammed up to be reporting to police duty the way she was. It wasn't like she was on an undercover case or something. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Not believable. You keep selling them horse shit and they keep buying it, but then want to be mad at what they bought. Y'all know who the hell y'all supporting, and y'all know who the hell y'all been supporting. His name is Tyler Perry, goddamn it. For better or worse, he y'all man. If he can't do it, nobody can, because ain't nobody else trying to make this kind of movie y'all in the background. Period, point blank. So this is the hill y'all go die on, accept it, and get off of Tyler Perry's back. Because he really don't care. He's going all the way to the bank and cashing the check every single time while y'all get mad and madder. But before I digress, he's y'all boo. Y'all love some Tyler. So guess what? Deal with it.
Well, I do think that's exactly why he had that Officer Richardson looking so good because it was supposed to combat the fact that Taraji P. Harrison looked so bad. You know, that's what I literally thought it was for. She looked bad. They got her looking super good. Maybe it's gonna balance each other out so black women ain't tripping. But they showed tripping, y'all. They showed tripping. Go ahead, Jado. You was about to say something.
No, a couple of things, Roger. This is a thing that women like. I know they do a lot of dumb stuff, black women particularly, but they do a lot of dumb stuff. But they understand stuff on a certain level that even it kind of goes over our heads a lot of sometimes, bro. Like, so what I'm saying is people are more likely to help something or feel sympathy for something if it looks good. Do y'all agree on that, or am I off? Am I off base? So if you see if it's a woman you driving past, she her car done broke down and she looked bad, or you like, wow, this is good. You're more likely to pull. I'm just saying in general. I ain't talking about anybody specifically. So they actually have a point there. You know what I'm saying? Taraji looks better. We give people passes based off their looks. So we do more for people women based off their looks. You know what I'm saying? So they actually have a point there. I mean, I think it's silly, but they actually do have a point. And also, Roger, you were talking about the hero. The other hero was what's her name? Cheryl. What's her name's character? The bank.
Yeah, the bank manager. Yeah.
Yeah, she was another hero too because she had all the sympathy. She was just less. She didn't look as commanding and as authoritative as the officer, whatever her name.
Yeah,
that's all on that.
But see, Jado, can we fix that? You kept using the word.
They made that old black man who was a war veteran. They made him look bad because he didn't like what she was doing at the bank and everything. People hostage and everything else. Every black person and the white man in there was just evil, no good son of a gun and everything else.
I'm not gonna say he looked bad. He just didn't have time to deal with that foolishness. That's
Yeah,
like love.
that's how some of them
but you
shows
know,
I was watching the movie with, looked at it.
and
And I'm
another
like,
thing,
man, why are some of these old black men like that towards us and everything? We supported you, brother.
and,
You
and
This
got
I,
you
man
got
whole
strong
thing was getting
emotions.
held up, and he with his wife. What is he? How is he supposed to act? That's my
That's what
thing.
I was saying.
but you know, and I know the brother's getting up in age. The brother, what, Glenn Turman, right? I know he's getting up in age. But man, immediately when I saw him, man, he looked. I don't know if they enhanced his, makeup or whatever, but he looked like the character of Django, Steven, man. He looked just like that guy, man. So why not shoot him? Why not kill him? He's just a evil, mean, old man, old black man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
I
mean,
thought yeah.
they
His life
definitely gave
don't
him
mean
that. But I'm gonna say that the older man at the bank. I mean, I'm looking at it as he went to the bank with his wife. He's an old guy. He's probably retired, man. He's just living his life. They doing what they do. But a lot of them people don't fix incomes. So the last thing he want to do is go to the bank and then deal with some hold up there. He know he on the back end of his life. He knows he got less in front of him than he got behind him. You know what I'm saying? So, and then he with his wife. So he still got to be a protector of some kind. So at the end of the day, I just took it that he's upset because now you have him and his wife in a situation that feels unsafe, and he got to figure out how to resolve this situation. And making an assessment, he think the best thing for him to do is just walk on up out of there because you ain't about to have me here and my wife in here dealing with this nonsense. You don't even know what you really want to do. So I have to applaud him for having a good sense to lead. Because some people don't know when it's time to leave. He saw danger. He see the person behind is not necessarily trying to be malice, but he didn't know that at the time. He just see a chick with a gun, and he fed up. And I'd be fed up too. You know what I'm saying? He a war veteran. I'd definitely be fed up if I was him. So I got to give him props for getting his wife out of the way he's supposed to. He protected his wife just like he said he was all them years ago when they got married, whenever that happened to be. So I'm going to say salute to the brother at the end of the day. I ain't got time for that foolishness. He took the right attitude. I ain't got time for this foolishness. And he left. Shout out to him. You know. Yes, Yogami. Yogami says, so a wife got freed by her husband. That guy Naga, she can't have that, Roger. They're strong and independent. They don't need no man. Well, the one who had a man, her man got her out of there. Okay, that's just how that went down. The one who had a husband with her, she was good. She didn't have to sit in there for hours upon hours and upon hours because her husband got her out of there. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got to say salute. I don't even think Tyler peeped that himself.
The pygmy got saved, huh? The pygmy got saved.
Oh, snap, man. The pygmy, huh? Well, yeah, she did get saved.
Hold on. Ain't that what they call black women who get chose by black men? They pygmies?
Yeah.
Hold on. And didn't you just tell me earlier, that's why I've been so quiet, you said we can't do no false narrative? So guess what? Isn't this what the narrative is showing us? A pygmy got saved?
No, I'm just laughing at the fact that you put that name on it. But you're absolutely right. The one that got picked got saved. Was not in there all that time. Okay, was back at home probably watching his own TV by the time this thing ended. Because they had been there all day. So it is what it is. So shout out to all the black women who got picked. Even if it was decades ago. So yeah, there was things to be upset about. Now, I didn't hear nobody point that particular incident out. But yeah, if you're a black woman, I can kind of get why there's something to be upset about. But I really don't believe they should have been upset because Janiyah was crazy. So everything Janiyah did, you could put it under the fact that she was crazy. Even murdering the guy who runs the grocery store. You can even put that under the fact that she's crazy.
Hold on. See, you keep running off with that she's crazy bit. And I asked you earlier, sir, if this scenario would have been a man, would we be saying that he's crazy like this? No, don't give him no outs. He
No, no, no.
chose to do what she
That,
did.
no,
That
that's
doesn't
what.
make her crazy.
No, I'm not giving her out. Tyler wrote that into the movie that her out is she was crazy. She was literally delusional. She was doing all this stuff for a daughter who was already dead. That's what I said at the beginning.
Because
Tyler
he wrote
wrote
it.
it where
Hold on. But because he wrote it in the movie, doesn't give us credence to give him a way out in that scenario. Okay, you wrote it in there, but no, she's not crazy. Everything she did for a reason because she did it. I'm not saying it's right, and I don't even understand it, but yet and still she did it. And guess what? She gonna have to be held accountable. No, we go obfuscate the whole thing off the fact that she's crazy and she felt a type of way. Hell no.
well, no, there's more.
Like I said before, if you change
Hey,
all of this and put a man in this scenario, nobody's gonna be
hey,
saying he's crazy.
hey, Roger. I'm not saying that I disagree with what you're saying, but hey, L has a great point, man.
No, he has a
He
point,
has a great.
but this is the
Yeah.
thing. This is the
Okay.
thing. She was literally crazy. She's not like when people just say you crazy. This is not a joke. She was
Roger,
literally.
Roger.
Oh,
You say no. Go
she
ahead. My bad, bro. My bad.
she was literally doing this over her daughter who's already dead. She's an actual crazy person.
Hey, Roger. You say this. You say this all the time, bro. You say I forgot how you put it. What information over presentation, right? That's what
Exactly.
you say. I'm
Exactly.
just saying. Was she formally diagnosed with anything? I'm just saying. Just sticking to what you say. Was she formally diagnosed in that in that movie?
Technically,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, brother.
technically,
I'm just
no.
saying. I'm
Technically,
just.
no, she wasn't diagnosed. She was not. We
I'm
know
just
enough to
saying.
know she wasn't diagnosed. And I'm not saying let her off the hook. What I'm saying is Tyler wrote it in the movie so she would be let off the hook, which is why I'm saying black women shouldn't have had such an issue with the movie because he quote unquote saved her in the end. That was the whole thing about the movie. You get this last piece is that she's actually crazy. She's just not doing this just on her own like that. She's pushed into this really, really bad position. So I'm not saying AL don't have a good point because he does have a good point. She was
But
not diagnosed as crazy, and I don't think a man even gets this far because he's already dead. That's all I'm saying. You know,
okay. And this is the thing, but he did write it in there. He was trying to make it sympathetic and whatnot. But guess what? They wasn't buying it. Like I said before, if they can't go out on the white horse being the victor in any scenario, if you don't paint it just that way, any way you portray them in the now 21st century future, they deem that as you're criticizing them, you're ridiculing them, you're downing them. How did the new YNs like to say, you're hating on me just to hate. So
what?
if that's the case, guess what? Tyler Perry is public enemy number one to all black women right now. But guess what? It don't matter that he's public enemy number one. Tyler Perry's they boo. They been supporting him. They go continue to support him. They go always support him because that's all they got to watch. Ain't nobody else producing nothing about them. So
Okay,
guess what? You get what you get.
well, let me stress this, brother. That YN thing, people shouldn't do that, man. That's gonna be nothing but a way for non-black people to call black folks niggas because they're gonna start calling them YNs. It
We've
means
been
young
called
niggas. So
the
I would
sun.
not use that term. Okay, I'm not gonna promote that term. I'm dead set against that term because that's just gonna be another way for white folks to start calling y'all niggas on the sly. So
Okay. Okay.
you know,
Would you like Dolores Tucker in what's her name? Maxine Waters? She was dead set in Clyburn. Was you dead set against back in the game when you was a youth when we was using the word nigga in every sentence? Was you dead set against that too?
No, I'm
No, you
saying
wasn't.
we
No,
can say
hold on. No, you wasn't. So if you wasn't,
no. I'm not
you
against the term nigga now. I'm
it's
not.
because you older and you wiser. Look at here. They've been calling us everything underneath
Hey,
the sun. It's not what they call you, Roger. It's what you answer to.
No, hold on now. I'm not for them saying it, period. You know what I'm saying? The last time I even thought somebody called me a nigga, I damn near knocked the hoot out because I thought he called me a nigga. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't never been for them saying it. And my thing is I'm being consistent with that. I'm saying the reason I would recommend people not use the term YN because white people are going to be using it to call folks niggas on the slide. That's what I'm saying. I ain't never been for them saying it, period. I'm still not for them saying it. You know, it is what it is. And if I find out a white person called a black person a nigga, whatever happened to him, happened to him. So I'm not changing anything. Okay, I don't want that to be lost in the trailer. I'm not changing anything. I'm saying I wouldn't use that term because white folks going to be using that to call people niggas on the slide. That's all I'm saying.
Respect. I see you willing to down your heel over this. No problem.
Yeah. Because trust me, if they call me nigga, don't blame me for what happened. That's all I'm gonna tell you, man. He said what he said. I did what I did, and that's it. End the story for me.
Okay. Let me pose a question to you. Donald Trump seeing you out in public. Hey, nigga, get over here.
I don't care who you is. I don't care. Donald Trump should know better. Donald should know better.
Donald Trump got Secret Service food. What you gonna do?
Well, obviously he just activated his Secret Service. You know.
Okay. I like a man that stands on some principle, man. I feel you. You say Donald Trump got to go there. He activated the Secret Service. All right.
I mean, Donald can at least Donald Trump can see. Donald Trump got the Secret Service, so he can get away with it. Because I'm sure they'll get me before I could do something to him. I mean, I'm pretty sure of that. But everybody, if you ain't got no Secret Service out there, I'm just say watch yourself, okay? Donald gonna be all right.
You have to kill your black ass. They gonna get to you before you get to him.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mess with no president anyway. But I'm just saying, in real talk.
But no, don't backtrack on me.
No, I'm not backtracking. I'm not backtracking. I do understand there's certain language that can be misconstrued as something illegal when you're talking about a president. That's what I'm saying. I'm not backtracking at all. What I'm saying is other folks ain't got no Secret Service. Okay, so it is what it is. Okay, you cannot threaten the president. Period. In any kind of way, shape, or form. So I'm just making sure it's clear. I'm not threatening no president.
He threatened you. He called you.
No. Hey, you got to be careful about some of this stuff. Some of this stuff is actually illegal. If they can interpret that you threaten the president, that's an actual illegal offense that they can take you out for. At the end of the day, your whole life would be different in two shakes. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I get you was just making an example. And I'm not accepting the example, but I got to make it clear. I am not threatening no president of the United States, period.
I got you.
Yeah, that's a legal matter, brother. That's a legal matter.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is this white man can wake up tomorrow and start calling all us that, but we can't do nothing. And we better not do nothing to him because he's gonna deem it as you threatening his life. The Secret Service gonna deem it as you threatening.
I can't tell you what he's going to do. All I'm saying is anybody that's a president, if they can say that you threaten the president, you in deep doo-doo, as they say. That's not about him. That's anybody who's a sitting president. You cannot threaten a sitting president, period.
The only action we would be able to take is to hope and pray that the Congress and the Senate censors him for his words he used if he was caught using those words in public on camera, being derogatory towards IEU.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure people know: do not threaten a sitting president under any circumstance. It ain't gonna be worth it. That's what I'm trying to tell folks. It is not gonna be worth it. Don't ever do that.
But Roger says if you're not the president and he thinks you use that
But
word, he gonna bust your ass.
somebody else ain't got no Secret Service. They got a whole different problem to worry about. So if you can afford, put like this.
I can't.
No, I'm saying put like this: if you can afford your own, if you could afford your own security detail, you can get away with stuff that other folk can't get away with. That's just reality at the end of the day. But back to the message at hand. Back to the message at hand, though. This is my thing. I think Jado makes a very good point about the fact that Taraji is not glammed up enough as this stuff is happening. But they do got two solid heroes in this movie because the bank manager was a hero. She even said that I would take the girl in when they arrest you and put you in prison. I would take the girl in. I have a husband, but I'm gonna talk to him and he's gonna say, yeah, you ain't got to worry about it. My husband gonna say, yeah, it is. So she was going way out of her way to be a hero. And keep in mind, this is before we don't know exactly when she found out the girl was already dead. We don't know exactly when she found that out. I don't remember that being revealed in the movie. But she did say she would talk to her husband so they could take the girl in when they knew she was gonna get arrested. So, not only did she do that, she tried to go out there she went out there with her, holding her hand to make sure they don't just shoot her up. Now, I could understand why a black woman could think they may have just shot her for no reason, because they do that to black men. I don't think she would have got shot in a situation like that. They would have let her surrender. It wouldn't have been that big a deal. Now, brother come out there trying to surrender. That's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. So, if I was going to surrender, I wouldn't have surrendered that way because I know better. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? I would have surrendered when I would have let the crowd go. I'd be like, look, I'm going to send some hostages out. I would have walked out with the hostages. Then I would have walked up to a cop and said, you can arrest me. I was the person actually pulling off the crime. Just to make sure you don't get to shoot me as I walk out with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would have did. I'm gonna play a game to make sure I stay alive during this whole thing. If it's a situation I'm definitely not going to get away with. So it is what it is at that point. And you ain't going to get away when all the hostages know what you look like already. So I think she was going above and beyond to be a hero. And then that Officer Richardson, I think is what her name was. Don't really remember. She went above and beyond to make sure she was the hero of the situation, and even got away with stealing off on the white guy who what Janai was scared of. She even, she went up there and she assaulted dude in front of the police officers and got away with it. So I don't know why black women need more than what they got in this particular film. Yeah, Taraji looked bad. Yes, a lot of them talked about it. But at the end of the day, it was a sympathy piece, man. That's all I'm saying. It was a sympathy piece. And Jado, maybe you got a point, because I'm gonna say this. I just saw some chick pulled off to the side. Was it Saturday? I think she was pulled off to the side. Man, I saw her in that car. I was like, man, I ain't even got time to ask right now. I was gonna hit it with the, you know what I'm saying, who's your man or whatever. But I just drove off. Maybe if she looked a little better. Maybe she looked a little better, I would have turned around. Maybe, but
Hey, right. I mean, I just bring that up because I know, hey, bro, they instinctively know stuff, and it makes sense. We know it too, you know what I'm saying? But they instinctively know this stuff, so that's probably why if Taraji was a bad looking, chick in that movie, then everybody would have a little more sympathy towards her. You know what I'm saying? And I said that too because, brother, I done seen homeless women out here, brother, that I done thought twice about. And I kept it moving, though. I kept it moving.
Well, I mean, that's something to kind of. I'm gonna say this: as the women were complaining, that definitely was a repeated issue I kept hearing about. You know what I'm saying? Going from one video to the next with and I was looking for exclusively black women to address this. Even if the black woman was with a man, I didn't even watch that. I was watching exclusively black women complain about whatever they had a problem with, and the way Taraji looked kept coming up. So I don't know, man. I don't know, because I think Tyler did a great job as far as trying to draw the sympathy in. I think Tyler did a great job, because I'm literally watching the film like, man, Tyler, how much you gonna do to try to get sympathy? I'm literally thinking thoughts like that as I'm watching the film. So I thought he did a great job to draw sympathy, and then he let black women off the hook by letting it be known she's a crazy person, because that's how I took it. Once they found out the daughter's already dead, we supposed to let her off the hook for everything else. She done murdered dude, managing the grocery store, but now we gonna let that slide because she crazy. She done held hostages at the bank, but now we gonna let that slide because she crazy. She be out in 2 years, as far as I was saying. If they did a sequel, she be out in 2 years.
Yeah, right. It's no doubt that that's the message that Tyler Perry was putting out there for her. So yeah, there's no question about that. Definitely.
Yeah.
And Raj, I wanted to point out one little particular line, man. Little things stick out to me when I saw this movie, man. When I guess when a bank manager and Sarai or Janiyah went into the office, or to her office, right, to the bank manager's office, and she started looking at the pictures, and she was like, "Oh, that's your family," or whatever, and then she said something like, "Oh, my husband." I think the bank manager was like, "Oh, my husband treats me, he's awesome, or he's great, or he treats me so well," something like that. And then I think Taraji was like, "You got to be very careful who you have a baby with," something like that, something to that nature, man. So she kind of, and she said, so she was taking a little knock at whoever her baby's father is, or her child's father is, or whatever. She took a little knock at him on a slight little knock at him without directly doing it.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I remember that part. I was thinking about that part. That it was almost like she was blaming Jermaine in this part. You got to be careful which man you were laying up with and all that type of stuff and all that type of crap and everything else. Instead of talking about her own sexual moral behavior and all that type of stuff. Again, this was indirectly bashing black men. Yet a white officer can go up there and berate you and all that type of stuff and let him get away with it. But at the end of the day, it's Jermaine's is part of the problem as well.
Well, I definitely took that as that was Tyler's way of making sure the audience understands that Janiyah's baby daddy is a bad man. Because we don't know nothing about Janiyah's baby daddy. It wasn't presented in this particular film. So this was just to kind of let you know he is a bad man. Because I ain't really said nothing about it. But if you're gonna start making assumptions about him, make negative assumptions. Now, I'm also gonna say when they went into that office, that's when the bank manager should have just picked the gun up. She was having enough conversation and showing the people, well, let me show you this and let me show you that. You could have easily got that gun without it turning into an issue, But hey, it is what it is. And I think some people gonna be like, well, I wouldn't have picked the gun up, whatever. She ain't the cop or whatever. I'm just saying she made it too easy at the end of the day. Because if that was me, I'd have showed her all kinds of pictures. And let me show you this. Matter of fact, come check this one out. And next thing you know, I got the gun pointed at her. And that's it, So
and one more, it's a lot of things stood out to me. This is another thing. Taraji got into a tussle with two grown black men, right? Two grown black men. And she came out the better of it each time, man. The guy in the bank that tried to run up on her, right? And he couldn't, take her down. And the robber or whatever couldn't take her down.
But the robber couldn't take her purse. The robber couldn't take her purse.
Yeah. So, I'm just saying, man. Come on, bro.
And then, but she didn't really get into a tussle with the bank, with the grocery store manager or whatever.
No, not him. No, I'm talking about the guy in the bank. No, the guy in the bank. Remember when the shot went off?
Yeah, when the gun went off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know how I took that? I took that as he went to go get her, But once that gun went off, that would cause some level of hesitation. I say that. That's how I'm gonna take that. You know what I'm saying? Because that wasn't the military guy. He didn't say
This
nothing
was a
about
younger guy.
Yeah, so I just take it as he wasn't no guy that was in the military. Once he heard that gun go off, he had to rethink things.
And maybe my memory isn't right. Did they tussle over for a second or no? Maybe he didn't. He was going towards her. They did.
They
Okay.
tussle a little bit, but he kind of let her go. He kind of let her go. Which I'm
saying,
not saying it's a bad idea,
I'm just saying, once you make a decision to do that, bro, that's part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, once you go for it, all the way.
Yes. But anyway, bro, just another thing I wanted to point out.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I mean, I get you, but I'm just saying you got to give them some room because they did have a gun and there's some level of fear. But see, I'm with you. If I'm already make that move, only one of us gonna make it out of this situation alive 9 times out of 10. Because once I go for that gun, I'm going for it. So
yeah, it's a possibility that the gun's gonna go off, right? It's a possibility. So why make the move if you're not gonna follow through with it? You know what I mean?
My thing is, once I go for your gun, I expect one of us to die. That's real talk. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no getting the gun and holding the gun on you. Not me anyway. If I go for the gun, you out. You know what I'm saying? That's on you. You should have held the gun better. But not pulling the trigger. I think I have to pull the trigger because this is the only time I'm gonna get a chance to do it legally. I was wrestling for the gun. I was able to get it to point toward him, and it went off. It is what it is. Or if I get the gun, I'm gonna shoot you and say it was a mistake. That's all. Yeah, I had the gun. I was just meant to hold on, and it went off. I guess I pulled the trigger I wasn't in the military. I don't know no better. That's what I'm saying. I don't know no better, man. It just went off. Sorry.
I don't know. I just don't like. I mean, those little things, man. I'm just saying. I know it doesn't have an overall, regard for the entire film or whatever. But as a black man, man, if I commit to do something, bro. And then I'm wrestling with a woman over something, I'm probably gonna get it done most of the time, bro.
Well, none of the black men were committed in the film. Think about it. The bank robbers weren't committed. They didn't go in there.
That's a good point.
He wasn't really about robbing like that. He didn't get that money. That money was being pulled out. He didn't pick that money up. He worried about some chick purse while he getting a couple grand or whatever being pulled out so he can take it. He worried about what's in some chick purse. He ain't committed to robbing for real. The other guy, soon as the first guy got shot, he ran. He wasn't committed because he didn't step up to the plate and blast her for blasting her boy, and then blasting the other guy for standing next to her when she blasted the boy. So he wasn't committed. The officer that was the partner of whatever, Richardson or whatever. Remember the black male officer? He wasn't committed to winning his side of the argument when they were talking about what was going down or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? The only black man in that joint that was committed was the old man who saved his wife. He was the only,
for sure.
He was the only black man with some commitment.
And the dude that got the old man that got off too.
Yeah, and even I'll give him some room. The head guy in charge who showed up before the FBI got there, the black guy was like the head. He made certain decisions, but of course he got jammed up when the white folks got there, meaning the FBI. So he got jammed up. I'm not gonna say he wasn't committed. He did show some level of commitment, but he been on the job for years and years and years. So they wasn't showing a lot of quote unquote commitment amongst the black men anyway, So, but of course, it wasn't our movie to shine. This movie was clearly designed for black women to shine, and I thought Tyler gave them enough shine where people shouldn't be tripping. I actually believe that Tyler gave them plenty of shine in this particular movie. Taraji's crap can be excused because she crazy. Officer Richardson stepped up to the plate, negotiated well, saved the woman's life. Made sure she was the arresting officer, you know what I'm saying? So nobody blasted her on the way out the door. The bank manager said that, we I'm gonna go out there with you after I done talk with you for all this time. I'm gonna take your daughter on myself. I'm gonna talk to my husband. I know my husband. My husband gonna say it's cool. So my thing is, the black women got their shine, which is why it was surprising to me for black women to be coming up against this movie. Like, I can't say you can't have no critic, but it was just kind of surprising that they got done this well in the film, yet black women still upset.
And they also got their black snitch in the movie also. Remember, the bank teller is a snitch. He's the one who wrote on the window that the bomb was fake and almost had the bank raided. Remember that part?
Absolutely. And well, I guess she had to make up for her stupidity in the first place, because the one who was working the counter, the tailor who was working the counter, to me, a whole lot of this is her fault. I'm gonna stress that a whole lot of this is her fault. All she had to do was cash a check. That's it. I totally get why you didn't cash when there was no ID. But once your bank manager came up there and say just cash a check, and once you saw that gun, and she's just trying to get her check cashed, why you would do anything other than cashing her check is amazing to me. It just shows how stupid some people can choose to be. You work as a bank teller. What is cashing a check to you? You do this all the time, I'm sure. This is not a big thing to think about. No, you just open the drawers up and start handing them money. That's not what she told you to do, and she got a gun. Why are you arguing with somebody who got a gun and you ain't got one? That don't even make sense to me.
You can't
Now,
tell them nothing.
I'll go say again.
I said you can't tell them nothing.
Shout out to Gregory Scholar. He says black women have become extremely weak-minded. I mean, really sorry. Just whine. Whether this movie, the statue in Manhattan, K. Michelle, or whatever else. Y'all, I'm not gonna disagree with him, because my thing is Tyler gave them their props in this particular film. And I accepted, as a person who watched a lot of movies, I understood that that's what Tyler was doing. He was making it where black women get to shine for the whole thing in this particular film. All the problems that were created were also resolved by black women. So, like, dang, what more you need at the end of the day? The black woman fixed everything. The black woman found the cop who did Janiyah wrong. The black woman also assaulted the cop who did Janiyah wrong. The black woman talked Janiyah down where there was some level of trust established. The black woman arrested her so she didn't get shot when she came out the bank. The black woman came out the bank with her so she didn't get shot when she came out the bank. The black woman promised her safe haven for her child, so if she has to go serve time while she's serving, that child would be protected. The black woman did everything in this particular film. What more did you need? What didn't the black women do that needed to be done in this particular film?
The black woman didn't end up with the white man.
Bro. If they would have took her to court, I mean, she would have went to court. She would have got acquitted, right, on all charges, right? And then that white police officer would have came back and said, "You know what? I'm very sorry about what happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm very sorry. I apologize. Can I take you out for a date?" And then they would have had another baby, man. They would have had a baby together. Go ahead, bro. My bad.
I got a better ending.
Okay.
The white male prosecutor fall in love with her.
There it is. I'll take that one too. Or the judge. Somebody, yeah. The judge, the prosecutor, somebody.
Hey, shout out to Gregory Scholar, because y'all doing something right now. And these last few minutes, y'all is definitely doing something. And I ain't saying something bad. I'm talking about something good. Gregory Scholar says, how can productive black men choose from this pool of weak-minded and weak character women for mating? They are helping make the case for productive black men to expand their field of choice. Well, I don't got no answer for that one now. That's the one question I ain't got the answer for. At
I
the
got an
end
answer
of
for
the
that. Grab your passport and go get you a black woman and sit down.
day. Yeah, because the stuff they out here doing, they wild with it at the end of the day. And you know what? I got to actually take this into consideration. Had they actually put into this film, I would take it as the cop. The cop was wrong. He was sorry about what he did. Like say like a day or two later, or even a month later, or something. Well, maybe they would have just kind of did a wrap up. Maybe it's 6 months later, and the white officer apologizes profusely for what he did and how it indirectly led to her having a hostage situation, and say, when you get out though, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna take you out, and I'm gonna make up for what I did as best I can. You know, do black women now love the movie? 'Cause I mean, there's
Yeah.
only so much you're gonna show for it to make sense. You can't just show 10 years later, and it makes sense. Well, I mean, I guess technically you could, but yeah, I think 6 months or whatever, and he just profusely apologized, or they even show him in court saying that how it turned into a hostage situation, unbeknownst to him, because he had a bad day with her, and he's really upset about the bad day. And let's say he got suspended or something already, well, it ain't too big a deal. But if I wouldn't have lost my cool and got suspended, on that day, she would have never held them hostages and blah blah blah. And now she gets something real life. And her whole thing is, matter of fact, when he get out, you know what I'm saying? If they do something well, when he get out or when he start working again, he gonna take her out. I think black women would have took this a lot better. I really do believe that.
Hey, Roger, the icing on the cake is if she would have got pregnant by that white man. Oh Lord, bro.
Well, I think it'd
You
have
went.
been a little bit of a stretch to get that to happen so quick.
I'm just saying she would. Hey, the pain that she allegedly had because of the loss of her daughter, it wouldn't even matter, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna replace my baby with this new white baby.
Man, bro. I'm just saying.
So yeah, a black woman found some funny stuff to complain about, y'all. They found some funny stuff to complain about because, again, this movie, all the heroes were black women. Ain't no hero in here that ain't a black woman, y'all. Not. Well, I guess that maybe you can give a hero to, but only partially because that one man saved his wife, which I don't even know if Tyler Peep did he put that in the film. He might have did that by accident. Because that dude was actually looking good. Maybe he tried to make him look weak, but he looked good. He got his wife out of there. That's what he's supposed to do. Shout out to Ryan Decipher. He says, in Tyler's world, anything can happen. Well, maybe the white officer, connects with her that night at the police station, and then you never know. So by the time they have a court case, she may already be pregnant. You can't put a lot of crazy stuff in here, y'all. But y'all, we are about to hit the 3-hour mark, so I'm gonna get ready to bring this to a close. So let me start in on some closing statements. So AL, I'm gonna give you the mic first. Any closing statement you want to make on this one, brother?
I don't know why you keep trying to put me on the spot, but no, this is another bang up job by TP. Debauchery at its finest, It's probably all the woes and ills of a black woman, but guess what? I'm here for the bullshit. I don't really care. I don't care. And I'm out on that note.
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Emperor, what say you, my brother?
Well, it was a beautiful mess of a movie. I enjoyed it, and I blame Roger for that. Hashtag blame it on Roger.
I'm gonna have to take it this time. I gotta take it this time. J-Lo, any last words from you?
No, I just encourage brothers to watch this stuff. As if you're doing a study, man. Like, yeah, don't let this stuff grab a hold of your emotions. And Look, man, we all got feelings, man. We all got, even the hardest of us, we have feelings and emotions or whatever. So watch it as if you're doing like a project for school or something, and get what you can get out of it. And yeah, that's all I got, bro.
All right, Champ Cop for life. What any last words for you?
Well, I'm gonna watch the whole movie this weekend. This coming weekend. Probably gonna watch it with my mother and everything else, who's getting out of the hospital. But I'm gonna watch it for teachable reasons. Studying psychiatry of some of these sisters and everything else. What's what's the full reason for it? What do they want? What kind of power do they want out of it and everything else? And um, what is what message are they sending here in the society? Because thing is, it's going to get pretty. It's going to get interesting, brother. Roger, on this, it's going to get interesting because with Donald Trump cutting down a lot of programs that were benefiting for Black women and everything else, you're going to see some of these sisters start wilding out and everything else. And I'm wondering if the Trump administration going to start targeting Mr. Tyler Perry for some of the trauma that he's pushing in these movies.
See, I think y'all be going way out of line. I don't think nothing like that's gonna happen. Black women gonna be fine. I know y'all done heard about them losing over 300,000 jobs. But when you think about how many Black women it is, and you compare that to 300,000, because it's got to be like 24 million Black women in this country, y'all. Y'all really think 300,000 is a significant number? When you got like 24 million of them, it wasn't that much. I mean, let's keep that's not even a percent of a percent. Okay, not that I'm doing the math, but that's not even a percent of a percent. They're gonna be just fine. Okay, they're gonna be just fine, y'all. Yeah, y'all don't believe in these strong, independent women the way y'all, the way y'all need to. They gonna be just fine. Okay, they still cranking out good movies, even though 300,000 lost their jobs. Okay, they still cranking out good movies. Okay, all right, and Tiana Taylor's hair in this film alone should have been enough for Black women to get behind and support. Okay, just her hair alone should have been good enough. But y'all, I'm gonna close this out. This was definitely an interesting show. I'm gonna say, as far as I know, this is Tyler Perry's second best movie. Okay, real talk. So I don't know what the hubbub is about to say anything wrong. This is second best movie of the ones I've seen. So shout out to everybody for coming through. Shout out to my audience. I appreciate y'all big time. All right. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Y'all will be doing this Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. You can wait for the notification, but ain't no reason to. And also, shout out to my main man, Jay Bones. I didn't see this, but shout out to Jay Bones. He hit me with the $5 cash app as well. So shout out to you, brother. You say 100. Great show, Roger. Hey, appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Real talk. All right, y'all. I'm going to get on up out of here. We'll see y'all next time around. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.
Hashtag Black Girl Magic. Yeah.
Yay. Yay.